Good evening, listeners and podcast fans. It is Cinetronics of Do You Expect Us to Talk fame, and I am, of course, hosting another episode of Do You Expect Us to Talk. That means it's commentary time yet again, even though we just did one, but, screw it. We're returning back to Bond, and this time it's Rebecca's choice, isn't it, Becca?
Hello, yes, I'm taking you back to 1987 with The Living Daylights.
Cool, I thought it was going to be some Merchant Ivory bollocks then when you said 87.
Well, it does have Dishy Tim Dalton, but...
Dishy!
In his role as Bond. Yeah, that's my word du jour at the moment. I seem to use it a lot, I don't know why.
Because you're...
special.
Female listeners of Do You Expect Us to Talk, do let us know if you also find Tim Dalton dishy.
Yeah, my perception has always been he's one of the least fancied of the Bonds.
Female listeners, do you agree?
Because you often hear blokes who aren't into other blokes, so heterosexual men will often say, Timothy Dalton's... not Timothy Dalton. They'll say, Daniel Craig's like too rough, he's not attractive, he's not smooth. And women fucking get wet over him, right? Women love Daniel Craig.
As well.
Daniel Craig I'm on about.
Oh, Daniel Craig.
Timothy Dalton, I've never
never
really seen women like talk up at all.
But then he's less in the public eye, though, isn't he? So, I mean, he's only done 2 Bond films. He's kind of almost like gets less talked about in mainstream terms.
He does.
So,
but I've never read anyone on Twitter saying just, played with myself to like Tim Dalton on Penny Dreadful or something.
I mean, they might do now because he's in a bit more stuff and he's a bit older as well. So he's got
a new series coming out as well, hasn't he? So.
He's so sexy. He's so sexy. My fuzz was hot.
I can't wait to get around to that series. It's going to be so much fun. That is one of my absolute favourites.
Edgar Wright is on the list.
Yes, a short but sweet series.
I played with my penny, then made it dreadful. Yeah.
Well, that's a story to keep to yourself. What you do with your penny is. I know this. Thank you very much.
I won't tell you where I put my penny to make it dreadful, yeah.
Let's just say if it was on the money, but
hey.
Anyway.
If you've got hot fuzz, write to us and expect us to talk at gmail.com.
And if you don't, drop us an email.
Yeah.
Also, special hello to Ken. Apparently he thought we were Welsh because we can't do...
Let's specify we mean Ken Mioza, not just any random Ken listening.
I was trying to preserve his anonymity, kind of, but you're like, no, Ken Mioza.
Well, yeah, but you came up with his name, but not his full name, to be fair.
No, good old Ken. No, so we'll have to...
Well, we could change it. What about... so we've just had a message from Ken Samosa.
Ken Formosa.
Asking if we're Welsh, which is not the sort of usual fan interaction we get.
No. Although we've got a range of accents in the show. We've got our... Dave, you're mine like kind of vaguely southern-ish. Mine's kind of leaning into Bristol. I don't know, Trowbridge, Yeovil accent.
I can't remember the last time I learnt into a Bristol.
Big Bristols. South Wiltshire accent, and then Chris's northern-ish accent. So we're coming from many locations.
Or from England.
All from England, though.
Across the British Isles.
I think it was the dead-on Welsh accent we do, bizarrely, when we're discussing Pierce Brosnan.
Even though he's Irish.
Ireland.
Yeah, it's only like the 2 instances where Bond sound really Welsh is when Tim says...
Don't you want to know why? But even
it comes out every so often.
He was brought up in like Chesterfield or something. He is Welsh, but like he sounds North. It's like, watch the birdie, you bastard.
You bastard. Yeah, exactly.
sounds Northern English.
It comes out every so often, doesn't it?
Birdie. Yeah.
Yeah, who's the birdie, you bastard? I guess it was the same with Brosnan as well. It's kind of like he's obviously born in Ireland, but he's had a kind of like international upbringing. He's travelled around a lot, sort of like England, Europe. So he's obviously lived in America for many years. So he's going to have a kind of, I don't know, transatlantic twang to his accent. So maybe if he was coming across to England, perhaps he might have, or even to America, sometimes if you've got a particularly strong accent, in some circles you're encouraged to kind of to flatten it, try to get rid of your accent, unfortunately.
If anyone tried to get me to flatten my accent, I'd be like, burn me.
I just remember going on holiday to California one time and just going around like doing these tours of the stars' homes, and everywhere you'd see posters like, coming from Spain or Mexico, try to get rid of your Spanish accent, and it's like, oh, it's very sad, but if you might be an aspiring.
What is that, like a sales pitch? Get rid of your accent by
or something like that. Yeah, something like that.
It isn't just get rid of your accent.
Get rid of your accent.
A really fucking aggressive billboard.
Or accent.
Welcome to America. Now get rid of your fucking accent.
Or no, there'll be adverts for like a speech therapist, or to kind of help you sound more. I don't know, or just to improve your eloquence, perhaps.
Your linguist skills.
Cunning linguist skills.
Yes.
Yeah, I trained Tom Cruise in Far and Away and Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future 3.
That's a claim to fame.
So your expertise is Irish, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, can you imagine someone promoting themselves on that basis?
and that's why they only ever got 2 jobs in Hollywood.
Just those 2 jobs, that's all.
Now tell me you like
my
hat.
Want to speak American like I trained Benedict Cumberbatch?
You know what? I just reminded me of Far and Away. I said Home and Away then.
I was going to say.
I've been meaning to rewatch it because that often gets slated as being god awful, and I remember watching it years ago when I was I was still like a very young teenager and really enjoying it. So I'm not sure whether it's just because the accents are just so bad that it just makes it unbearable, or whether it's actually that bad a film. I don't know, but I'm quite looking forward to revisiting it whenever I get a chance. Just to hear Tom Cruise say, "Now tell me you like my hat." and I wager that's probably a better job than what Tom Cruise did.
I think you did a better job there.
I remember hearing like literally a tape that they used to like train on like an English accent or something.
Oh.
And it was someone doing an English accent who wasn't English trying to train other actors.
Oh, right, interesting.
But when they got to like coffee, they literally went, coffee? Like that. And I'm thinking the person training them can't even do an English
Can't even talk.
So how does that fucking work?
So it's kind of like parrot fashion, but not quite, through like this weird vortex of hearing somebody else.
Yeah, coffee.
I think it's like overdoing the subtleties of it. Obviously, I imagine Americans probably sort of put more pronunciation onto the first part, like of the O of it, and we probably maybe do the E in it.
To
I don't know.
be fair, I feel a bit sorry for anyone trying to do an English accent on the basis that in this country there's a different accent about every 400 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a lot of dialects, don't we?
It's quite difficult. Even down in this region, they vary dramatically.
No, you've got so many, haven't you?
Yeah. But it's probably the same in the States, just because it's a bigger country. It's just like expanded a bit, so like each state's got their own different accent. Because we're smaller, it just seems like it's a lot more, compressed. But really, it's about the same. Really, I would have thought.
I was like, even in the state where I was staying at uni, I think even between like the north and southern parts of the state, obviously kind of the closer to Minnesota you get, obviously the accent would change, dramatically. At first when I arrived there, I thought they sounded pretty much the same, but then if you tell people that, they would be majorly offended. But yeah, I think there was even differences, travelling around the state.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just a weird thing if you like sort of go to like northeast and sort of and think someone from Middlesbrough's talking like someone from Newcastle, they get pissed off and go like, fuck off.
I do remember on one of the Star Wars featurettes or something, one of the crew said that when they heard David Prowse on set talking, they were like, who's this Scottish guy? And I'm thinking, fucking Scottish!
Well, no.
So yeah, it must confuse people, but there you go. Anyway, what's this got to do with Timothy Dalton knobbing Whoopi Goldberg?
That was really random. That's one of those Hollywood hookups that you think, huh?
Yeah.
Well, clearly, they enjoyed a special time together. I don't know.
Because that would have been Rocketeer time as well, like 91, 92.
Yeah, that's a good film.
It's alright.
It's got Tim Dalton in it. It's fine.
Well,
But anyway,
lots of
this has
things have
nothing
got
to do
Timothy
with
Dalton in
The
them.
Living Daylights.
The Living Daylights, you say? 1987's Bond film with the first appearance by the great Timothy Dalton.
Yes, that one and the same.
What made you choose this?
I just plucked it out random out of my head. No, obviously we've not done it yet. is the main reason. But yeah, I think number one, we haven't done it yet. Number two, Tim Dalton. Number three, still kind of my favourite. Even though I do now thoroughly enjoy.
Even though you ranked it 13th.
Even though I ranked it 13th. of the two, this is, I don't know.
And you
it
ranked the other
jumps.
one 7th?
Yeah,
This is the
it's gone
problem
down.
with,
They switch faces now.
This is the problem with recording with someone with a really good memory.
Yeah, my ranking has changed now. It's different to what I said many moons ago. It goes up and down. It changes all the time. I mentioned it back
No, it
then.
doesn't. It's definitive. You laminated it. We don't want to.
I laminated it. All right. Where did I do that then?
We don't want to shortchange our
Send me a
listeners.
copy,
We want our
please.
listeners to go, no, that's what they think.
I'd like to see this laminated copy.
Even though I pussied out when I wanted to give Goldeneye more of a kick in than I did.
Oh, they ranked it higher. Also cello playing. Globe hopping.
Cello playing.
Just this cello. I've got to get it in there because I play cello myself. How many reasons is that?
That's
now?
fun, folks.
That's fun. Fab facts, y'all. John Rhys Davies. He's always good. Good value.
All the years
but-
I've known you, and I don't remember the last time you parted your legs and had a good twang.
But
No, I didn't know you played cello.
yeah, I played it through school. I've not played it since, sadly, because it's very expensive.
So when you say you play cello, we're a
I
bit
did.
mixed up on our tenses there.
Sorry, I have played the cello whilst I was at
Given
school.
you're the incumbent Batman, that's some years ago now.
Many years ago, yes, definitely. No, there was I was the only one in the school to play it. There was no string quartet at the time, so I had to learn along with our school wind band. So I did all the concerts and everything. So I was obviously wind band, and there was the one lone string instrument at the end. That was me. But yeah, and then literally as I left many years ago. As I was leaving, there's two of the girls and they picked up the violin. And they're like, "Oh, we should have a string section." I was like, "Yep, I'm going. Bye." So I think now they've got their own little string section, which is quite good. But yeah, for the whole 5 odd years I was at school, I was the only one to do it. And
So
very
who
good
else
it was
is
too.
Timothy Dalton knobbed?
So yeah, who else has he been with? Is there a Mrs. Dalton? Do we know?
I have no idea. He keeps himself to himself, doesn't
He's a
he?
very private man, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, you still see debate over his date of birth.
Does he have children?
I don't know. No, because there was a woman he was with who had a child with Mel Gibson. I think she had a child with him as well some years before. Yes, I think
That's
he's got
another
a child
random
with
hookup,
about
isn't it?
18
As
or
well,
19
people
now.
that you don't expect to get together.
Yeah.
And that's
She
what,
obviously-
I've got no problem with it, but it just seems very odd.
I'm just hoping she didn't
Occurring.
just sort of see the box office decline for Bond and just decide to slip over to Lethal Weapon.
Maybe.
That wasn't the reasoning.
No.
you know.
but
Yeah,
I'll give it a go.
because like Lethal Weapon 2 was like a huge hit the same year where.
I know. I'm
License
just
Kill.
wondering if she's now desperately hitting up Vin Diesel. I hear your franchise is doing very well.
Who am I fancying this week? Right.
She dated Vanessa. He dated Vanessa
But
Redgrave.
did she?
Yeah.
Des Lewis, Kate Fitzpatrick, Whoopi Goldberg, and yeah, I can't pronounce her name. It sounds kind of Russian-esque. So,
The Mel Gibson one.
Oksana, somebody
Yeah.
or other.
so
The Waxana Troy from Star Trek: The Next
No,
Generation.
not Diana Troy, no.
All right. Well, I think people must be, getting moist with anticipation now. The way we've really teased tonight's commentary.
I have to do those plumbing accents as well for Ken. I don't quite know why.
the plummy accents.
Plumbing accent. Yeah, hello. Thank you for listening. What is Back to Talk podcast? Yes. Somebody Warner.
Ken visits his famous favourite podcasts. Not something I've done, to be honest. I've never turned up at like Kermode's house and said, "I'm a fan. Can I stay?"
Hi.
Oi, Kermode, talk movies for me.
Yeah.
Do that thing with your flappy hands. Something I probably wouldn't say to him in real life.
Okay.
Let's get on with it.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
So, we are watching. Well, we're all actually watching in the same format, which makes a nice change.
Yes, we all have the DVD, the Blu-ray even, and I'm on initiate mission, ready to go.
Okay. I'm the same. So on 3, we shall initiate the mission. 1, 2, and 3. And here we go.
Yeah. Hopefully did it a little bit earlier, taking into account my really slow games console.
Oh, I just left it a couple of seconds to take account of you.
Being really slow.
The UA symbol has just filled the screen now.
Yes, I have that. Good old UA.
United Artists.
Yeah.
See, when I see MGM, I think Bond, and when I see United Artists, I think Brocky.
I think Tom Cruise.
No.
Good old Tim. What do you reckon to Tim's gun barrel?
I like it.
He's against. Firstly, he looks like he's crouching for a shit, and secondly, the paint behind him is like too cream in colour.
It does look a little bit like that.
That's the only thing about Brosnan that is better. But...
It's just a little bit too old-fashioned. Like it needs to be updated just a little bit.
I just think, why is he slightly squatting?
Yeah, does he want to? Does he want to kneel? I don't know.
You could put a fart noise on that, perfectly timed. You know. Now, Robert Brown plays off Timothy Dalton way better than Roger Moore.
I think he's a good for the era, I think.
Do you think that's probably because with he coming in like sort of at the tail end of Roger, that when he gets a new actor, it's kind of like, oh right, finally I can get into it, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the in between person, isn't he?
I think that Brown, I've never been able to verbalise why I don't like him as much as Bernard Lee, and I think some of it is I don't think he's got Bernard Lee under quite a gruff exterior has got a bit of warmth about him, and Robert Brown doesn't, and that plays much better off Dalton's Bond than it does like
he's a bit more serious,
Roger Moore's fucking about.
Yeah, true.
You kind of get the impression that this guy's all business.
Even like Desmond Llewellyn as Q is like absolutely reinvigorated by having a change of Bond.
Definitely. I love this introduction.
I can't remember which podcast it was, which was pointing out that with Desmond Llewellyn's hands, he's the only man. He's built perfectly for doing force perspective.
Oh, that's a bit harsh.
He did have massive.
That is true.
I mean, when he went to
some like medical condition or something like that.
When he went to play with himself, he must have been so disappointed. You know, he must have been. Oh, this just looks rubbish.
There's nothing in comparison. Nothing what I've seen in the photo.
So basically, you're saying he's like the polar opposite of John Beadle. Just like...
Yeah. I found out today.
You're out of it.
Robert Bathurst from Cold Feet screen tested for Bond here.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, other people playing Bond at the time included.
He said they thought he thought his time was being wasted just to put pressure on Dalton to say yes or no.
Oh, what a shame! That was Bond that could have been.
Robert Bathurst would have been a rubbish Bond, to be fair.
He's a bit of a smoothie though, isn't he? I think he would have been very much like a Bond in the vein of Roger Moore, but he couldn't have done but not as good, obviously.
No, he wouldn't have been any good. Now these two guys were cast to be a little bit like the two agents here were meant to be, in colouring, they were meant to evoke Connery and Moore. They don't do nothing like either of them, though.
No, meant to have that kind of edge, like dangerous edge to them.
So who's this meant to be? Is this meant to be Connery?
I suppose so, because he's got dark hair and the other one's sandier. Arg! Sorry, I'm just going.
I love that. That's so cool.
That's a brilliant fucking look.
Oh, that's a great introduction.
Albeit it's an insert from Pinewood, you can tell.
Yeah, you can obviously tell. There's a little bit in Fiore's Only where they cut to like the top of the mountain to the hideout, and it's like that's obviously set at Pinewood. Oh.
To be honest, if they wanted to be more honest, they might as well have just shot Roger in his trailer.
I'll send my man to do it.
Just been sat with like Pebble Mill at 1 on behind him with a cup of tea going.
Vintage nostalgia.
No, I'm in Siberia, you know.
Drinking my champagne.
I mean, had it did continue on, it would probably just sort of like starring Roger Moore's stuntman.
A younger, fitter man.
Silly come the end. I feel quite harsh because I'm writing articles and I'm getting less and less positive as we go on because he looked the part at the start and come the end, it's embarrassing when you can't even do your own fucking fights. It's just this is now ridiculous. You should.
It was like 111 to 12.
Yeah.
Here he is. It's the man himself.
It's always a bit awkward that way. You just sort of move.
I think we're about to see the last there.
Oh,
That
God,
is the
it's
last
dead.
speeding up I can
It's
remember
Western.
in the series. When the car goes over the hill there, that was sped up, and I don't remember that in any Bond film since.
We might see it again. You never know.
Why would we want to? It looks awful.
I think this is probably sped up slightly. You know, we see.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, obvious speeding up then, put it that way.
Actually, speaking of speeding up and slowing down, recently attended Secret Cinema Casino Royale, and there are towards the very end, during the scenes between like Bond and Vesper when they're being chased around the sinking building, when Bond's being chased around the sinking building even. I never realised like how many bits of the film was slowed down, and I was
Why
like,
is that
I
evoking
don't remember this.
Duncan Norvell in my head? Chase me!
Chase me! I was like, I never realised that before, so might have been a glitch in the video, I don't know, but it's interesting anyway.
So what did they do then to sort of evoke the real event? Get you pissed and steal all your money?
Yeah, pretty much.
Why do I get the impression you've been told not to tell anyone what happens at these things? You haven't said
No.
anything.
I haven't signed any like NDA or anything like that, but of course, like the event's still going, so I don't want to spoil too much of it. Only just to recommend it
But me and Chris have asked you privately, and you haven't told us, and we're not going.
Oh, we can go along. No, it's amazing. It really is amazing. I don't know where to start.
Hang on, that's a headbutt. I don't see this getting a 12, 15 rating.
No, that's true. Definitely.
Although
John Glenn liked his animals jumping out of nowhere, didn't he?
Well, you know, if you go to the Rock of Gibraltar, you're going to see some rock apes, aren't you? You're going to see the rock monkeys, definitely. Don't feed them; they'll steal your watches and any other personal effects you might happen to have hidden away. But yeah, if you visit Gibraltar, I could definitely recommend a trip through the rock. It's really interesting, useful for the rock apes. But if you're interested in like British and Canadian military history as well, it's a really interesting place to visit.
Yeah,
And if you're interested in the horse Rock of Gibraltar, we can't help you. Her voice is different on the trailer.
Yeah, she does sound a bit different.
Yeah, totally different voice.
So boring.
I thought she was a poor choice as his first conquest.
Well, she doesn't figure much in the story, so
She looks like she should be in like To the Manor Born or something.
Yeah, Margot.
Yeah.
That's some very no nonsense James Bond. James Bond, that's it.
Yeah, it
think
is.
that's true.
It's not that good.
but it's a very 80s though.
It's very 80s, and it sums up everything we need to know about him.
Mark O'Connell, I'm sure Mark O'Connell told us that's a man's hand there in that glove.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did. I don't think it's in the glove, it's just a red light shone on it.
All right.
It doesn't look gloved to me, but it's, yeah.
Behold, Morris Binder completely over the hill and with no money or ideas.
We'll do this cheaply as we can.
The problem is, as soon as somebody dies, they're venerated, particularly if they did like set a tone for a series, but actually most of his opening sequences are terrible.
I suppose when you pair them back, obviously, because now, well, we've got the...
I mean, what's
We
this?
can't hear the music.
It's nostalgia though as well, isn't it? It's like, oh, you kind of... You can't really hate on it too much because you kind of grew up with them. So even though you objectively, yes, they're crap.
I mean, this is vaguely better than A View to a Kill, just because that was embarrassing. But the bit of her getting like in the glass at the end looks horrific. It honestly should have said sponsored by Sun Bingo. It looks so cheap and nasty and shit.
See, where's that gun coming? Honestly, just...
It's more where the trigger is. Oh, I've just fired.
So here he's got like a luminous sort of effects, babes with guns.
Right, we'll film a puddle and you two turn around and point that way.
You two do this. Go over here.
It's like
There's
this
reflections.
could easily be like Spy Love Me.
Spy Who Loved Me's better than this. It's way better timed and way better choreographed, and it's just better. Spy Who Loved Me's probably the best one he did. But even if we disagree on the quality of it, you're right. 10 years later, how's he evolved? Not at all. I mean, what's this? Just lie in water like you're a corpse. That'll be sexy. We'll have some water behind you.
Just having a really nice, relaxing spa.
We'll have some light under you. Like
Yeah.
like it's Cocoon or something.
I wonder how it relates to the lyrics of the song. The two don't really mesh up for me, unfortunately. I mean, it's an iconic imagery.
What's she doing now? Is she just hardcore fishing? I'll just fucking shoot the bastards.
I think she's actually naked. She's actually naked.
Oh, what was that? Too late.
Whoa!
And now here she is.
And there's the Daily Sport.
Look at that 007 sign. That should be in fucking like Skegness or something. 007. That should coming soon.
A new Bond location, Skegness.
Join us for a free dinner after the bingo.
Sponsored by Gala Bingo. No, this isn't really sponsored by Gala Bingo.
That is a very, 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 very like. That's how you pictured. If you'd never done anything but read the books, you'd go, "Oh, that looks like really evoking James Bond." Although you might not go, "Ooh," in such a camp way as I just did.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. So if we can play a game of Spot the Producer. No, obviously that's not the producer. I met Thomas Wheatley once. He's a very nice man.
No, he's not. He's an officious twat. I've seen him in this.
He's actually lovely. He's a really nice man.
See, I don't know why Timothy Dalton doesn't do it more for women, because those eyes are fucking steel.
He loves it, doesn't he?
I think he's less smooth. Or
he doesn't have the film star quality of a Craig. I'm not saying he's worse than Craig, but Craig just commands the big screen in a way this guy doesn't quite. But okay, he is kind of smouldering.
I think smouldering is the right word. What?
Yeah, I'm sure Michael G. Wilson is there somewhere.
Yeah, I think we see him towards the end as well, don't we?
Yeah, because he's such a star.
I love that he has cameos. I think that's fun.
I hate it.
I love it. I think it's great.
I think it's self-aggrandizing shit. The man is nothing in the eyes.
But Hitchcock cameo then? Do you feel the same about him?
No, because Hitchcock was a fucking superstar. Michael G. Wilson's fucking nobody to the general public.
It's fun to spot. You know, it's his films and it's his family's legacy.
It's not the director. It's pissing on the director.
The thing is, though, if it
nothing to do with it creatively.
If it was actually like broccoli, actually, you know.
A piece of broccoli.
Yeah, a piece
of broccoli. Just one of the chairs. In like
a
little broccoli's wearing a tux. A little mini tux.
If it was like started by the original producers.
Yeah.
If Harry Rockett had done it and they carried it on.
If they started doing it out of nowhere and it's like, who the fuck are you?
But then, if Stephen Saltzman had carried it on, he'd want to be like the main event. So I think that's probably a good idea.
I just think suddenly do it from no one. He's only one of the producers anyway, and he's not. The director is responsible for like the film, the artistic direction of the film.
It's just a bit of fun. Yeah. It's so good.
But the other thing is, occasionally they let him say something, and that's a disaster.
Consider him slime.
I knew you were going to go there.
Out of the film every time. His worst one is in GoldenEye, because they all respond with a big no, and you've got this guy in the middle who just cannot act.
Yeah, he doesn't do very much.
It's honestly film breaking for a couple of minutes anyway, and then like I get reabsorbed into the film and it's fine. But every time I see him, it takes me out. It
does take you out a little bit. Yeah, for Casino Royale, I think the scene where he kind of gets arrested as the chief of police, that brought up quite a big laugh at the house. I think it must have been sort of around 2,000 people there.
Not so bad on that one because he didn't speak.
He doesn't have a line, but he's got quite, you know.
I mean, we used to see Hitchcock trying to get on a bus and things like that, and walking past the window
with his dogs.
I mean,
or in the Lifeboat where he's in there twice.
You see a reflection of Peter Hunt in Majesties, and I just think like that'll do. But for me, it's direct.
That's clever. I think
it's director or nobody. He shouldn't be doing it, particularly when you give him lines. Because honestly, for the sake of like you might enjoy the line, it takes me and a lot of people out of the film every single time.
Marmite, it's Marmite.
Yeah, and Marmite tastes like shit. To be fair, for those of you not in this country, Marmite is foul.
As a
Well,
drink,
it's literally that's why it's Marmite.
Bovril is
Yeah.
horrid.
Well,
I don't like Bovril, obviously.
I could stand Bovril. I can't stand.
I don't understand that.
Marmite.
It's the same
No.
thing.
They're not quite. They're not. Well, but
They're ones-
Marmite's
ones,
an awful lot more concentrated.
Yeah, Bovril's the beef extract, and the other one's the yeast extract.
Although some science student or some science students or something at university told me that there's an ingredient in Marmite that like half the population can taste and half can't, and if you can taste it, you don't like it. Basically,
Interesting.
It's as simple as that. So
I clearly
Ah.
can't, so I like it. So
That's science, folks.
that is
because
science.
there's lots of foods I don't like, but I can sort of get my head around how people might.
Yeah, fair
Marmite,
enough.
I can't imagine how anyone would eat that. It's the most disgusting fucking.
What's the ingredient then?
It's
I don't know,
Does-
but
I wonder-
fecal matter would taste better.
Food.
I
I
won-
don't mind it.
I wonder if that applies to other foods as well, because I actually can't stand cold turkey. Like once it's been cooked and then refrigerated, no, absolutely I can't.
Really? Is
Yeah.
is that texture or taste though?
Well, I think a lot of it is texture with cold meats in general, but there is definitely like a taste element with cold meats. Turkey is far the worst. 'Cause it just has a really.
And people complain we don't talk about the films, but this is fucking box office.
This is really interesting, actually. What's
And
the
it's our
secret
show
ingredient?
notes sorted.
Yeast extract, salt, vegetable extract, niacin, thiamine, spice extract, riboflavin, folic acid, and celery extract.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's not
exact composition of spread as a trade secret.
Yeah, it's not as if like this is like one of like the best openers of a Bond
I know.
Bond film.
We picked the best. We picked the best fucking Act 1 in the series to slag off the producer, then discuss.
Well, you slag him off. I don't mind his cameos, and it's as I say, it is very much Marmite because some people like it, some people hate it. So there we are.
But the very fact a lot of people hate it means it should be there. It's not director or nothing.
Let's put it up to a poll. And I know who's going to reply.
And just to throw a spanner in the works in regards to this opinion, I
Which
really
of you are better?
I really couldn't care less. So
normally, if I spot him in the background, I think what a load of self-aggrandizing bollocks, but fine. Like in Quantum of Solace, he's just sat in like a lobby reading a newspaper. Fine.
Yeah, it's really conspicuous.
I don't mind that. Genuinely, I don't mind. It's when they started giving him lines, and I really was like, "You have just absolutely fucked this scene up." Because like Tomorrow Never Dies is camp as a row of pink tents in places anyway. But like that
It's just
line,
consider him slime.
yeah, it ruins the scene. Absolutely ruins the scene, and it doesn't help because the bad guy in that film has no fucking menace anyway. So all you do is making it even worse.
It's funny.
delicious.
Ah, Rosica.
Now, this woman best known for the TV show Lives and Loves of a She-Devil.
Yes. Very iconic.
Yeah, although she wasn't as rampantly sexy there as she is here.
He does a bit of sexing up. And then
Yeah, I just love this guy's reaction. This is like a Timothy Dalton sketch, though. Not Tim. Let's try that again.
Timothy Dalton
It's like
sketch?
like a Roger Moore film sketch, where he's just so captivated by boobs.
It is quite a. You don't normally see this in well, not just in Bond films, but in Hollywood movies in general, where the main bad guy at the beginning is just painted out to be almost like a bumbling in it. It's like, well, he can't possibly be the bad guy. He's almost like lovable here.
Yeah. Yeah, Fast 7 should be like 20 minutes to stay than being like Mr. Bean. The bad guys are the weak part of this film, though.
Yeah.
That's another reason I prefer License to Kill. Because Robert Davi is the tits.
Yeah, I like it in. I like the idea of it. I just think it probably.
Did you just hear how shocked Becca was?
Yeah, she fell off the chair.
Davi is the tits.
obviously the guy watching the lights is Peter Porteous, and his wife Emma also worked on this film.
I hope his wife left him after his fucking behaviour here.
What kind of a girl do you think I am? Yeah, so it's all very much a family affair.
I love the fact that it's not even like varied sexual activity. It's just literally jam his head in her tits, and he's like, "Oh, blimey! Oh, would you look at those?"
Do we not like say this at the when we reviewed it? But it does look rather like Jeremy Corbyn, doesn't it?
Good old Corbyn. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What kind of a girl do you think I am?
He enjoyed that enough that we can be sure she's not Jewish.
But drum roll, please.
Or maybe
I was
she
randomly
is.
chatting to.
Or maybe she is, and she never called him back. That's maybe why.
That's what prompted it.
Maybe shocking horror.
Desmond should just pick that up in one hand.
Hello.
So what?
Do you know if this had been in the era of something like Bo Selector, they could have had him with just massive hands as well as. Off you go.
So what is it about Desmond that I think he reacts really well to Timothy?
Well, he often said that Timothy Dalton was his favourite. Now, I didn't hear that in context, so I don't know if he means Timothy Dalton was his favourite guy, or whether Timothy Dalton was his favourite Bond, or both. But he just looks invigorated by it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe they didn't give him as much to do near the end with Roger Moore, but I don't know. Roger Moore used to play a lot of tricks on him and stuff like that, and I almost feel like I can see he looks a bit pissed off during scenes. But I might be projecting because late Roger Moore is just so bad.
Yeah.
Early Roger Moore's absolutely fine. It's just the last couple I can't stick. If you can't do it, if you can't even literally, if you need a stuntman to walk up some stairs, then you shouldn't be doing the role. I mean, he's just taken his passport there. Would Roger have done that himself, or would he got the stuntman to do it? Passport? Christ, he might catch a fingernail on me.
I mean, Christ, even looking up.
I could break my neck. Well, there's quite an athletic sex scene coming up. Well, no, I could do that. That's all right. I think Saunders is great because he's just such a prick in the first bit of the film, and he doesn't massively change character. He becomes likable just because you sort of see it from his point of view. Just a bureaucrat who's a bit out of his depth.
You kind of feel better. He's best off behind the desk rather than out actually doing missions.
Well, he's just a stickler for the role. Very procedural. Very no, this is the plan. What?
Yeah, this is what we have to do. We've got to do it very much by the book.
I was sent here to shepherd you through a mission, and you've just done it all the wrong way, and we got very lucky. Exactly.
Yeah, he's understandably pissed off. So, but no, apparently, when I met him, he was wearing the very same suit that he wore to the premiere of the film. So I was like, it still fits you. He still looks very good. And he said that he goes jogging quite regularly and often jogs past. I can't remember which part of London it was, but past Dalton's residence. So it was good fun.
Tim, they're enjoying a menthol cigarette.
Yes, good old menthol. Back in the days, you could smoke on screen.
The last times we see Bond smoke, really, didn't it?
Cigarettes, yeah.
I expect him to have a big pipe or a bong or something.
Behold, the blandest Moneypenny.
Oh, she's very lovely.
Lovely lady.
Met her as well. She's very nice.
No screen presence, so. Yeah, these people being nice don't make them good at what they do, though, and she's like the weakest Moneypenny in the official series.
To be fair, though, I always think they never really give her a chance.
No, I mean,
she didn't really get much. Yeah,
there's
much
lots of reasons for it, but the end result is she's the weakest Moneypenny.
Yeah.
Because Samantha Bond had bags of screen presence.
I mean, given the Barry Manilow line, it's just...
That's really bad. This film, I think, also has the weakest... Oh, no, wait, that's next time. Felix in it as well, unfortunately.
This one, John Terry, yeah.
John Terry, not that John Terry, but yeah, John Terry, who I think is probably the worst, or the weakest Felix.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, who has a Barry Manilow collection?
Not the cheap John Terry, the other one.
I mean, who has a Barry Manilow collection? Collection of what?
Barry
Records, don't you know?
What, Barry Manilow? What, a collection of Barry
White Pond
Manilow's
Farm.
favourite
Good old White Pond Farm.
spoons.
You can visit this farm. You can go there. It's very nice.
You can visit anywhere briefly.
It's actually a private residence.
That's what I mean. Briefly, you could visit it.
You can drive past.
Before you get arrested.
This brings back so many good memories of a drive in the country.
I think that's why he has to keep playing the same song over and over again. He gets halfway through it and then has to take it off your ears to strangle somebody.
Keeps missing that bit. Oh,
Bollocks.
let's get to the good bit.
And here we have Stoner Park, which doubles for the Bladen Steakhouse.
Named after stoners.
Named after, yeah, we were like, is it Stoner or Stunner? Like, no, it's Stoner.
Get stoned there.
And that little hut, those gates really aren't there. And the little hut was just created especially for the film. I'm pretty sure I told you this last time round.
It's convenient that the milkman had the uniform that actually fitted.
It did, yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah, they never come in looking like they're wearing jorts.
No.
Like the sleeves are just too short. Like well.
Oh.
Oh dear. Oh, he's like, don't touch me. Oh.
Good job he does know his food. Open it and there's like super noodles in there. And a couple of cans of Tizer.
Well, just goes to say that he's
Or you just start taking out Big Macs, like.
Turkey Twizzlers.
Turkey Twizzlers, yeah. Tesco value baked beans or something like that. Pot noodle.
This won't do at all. And then like Dalton casually reaches into his jacket.
Heinz baked beans? No.
No, he casually reaches into his pocket and opens
His packet?
into his packet and pulls out a can opener. It's like, will this do?
Will this do? Can of Spam? I can also recommend a visit to Stono Park.
What's been apart from Hinks? What's probably been the best henchman in the Bond film recently? Because I can't. I'm having trouble thinking of a particular one. Maybe.
Vampire had so much potential, but he was a bit rubbish.
Maybe.
Numi Rapaz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, should be on them.
Frankie Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, Xenia.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Xenia's been the best since like Brosnan started, probably.
Yeah, I think she's probably the best from his era. Yeah, Craig has Mr. Hinks.
This is 1987. That meant Freddie Gray should be going, like luxuriating in his like successful political party, winning all the elections, and we'll sweep that big Labour era under the carpet.
It's like wearing a blue tie. Oh.
No, died the more conservative me. Not good enough to get any kind of like promotion or reshuffle, but
Fair enough.
He just goes with the wind, really, doesn't he?
These politicians, in these Bond films,
he'd still be here. Like it's like we get to like sort of late '90s, he'll be like they're proper Blairite. Be like, oh yeah.
Well, I'm all about the third way. What's that then? Don't know. Who does that guy remind me of? Not the one on the right. He reminds me of the chef in Fawlty Towers.
Poor chef. That was Max.
Yeah, that was. I think that was John Glenn's call.
Let's use that same parrot.
Yeah.
Oh no, this guy. Quick. This is one of the better fights in the series.
Yeah.
And you never expect it coming from him. You think like, oh, this guy's going to be quite easy to take on.
Yeah, he's actually he'll beat your
But
ass.
he gives it Riz.
He does. He gives as good as he gets up to a point.
Quite upset over the menu, aren't I?
Sausage. death by grill. That looks painful.
That's salt in the eye.
Anytime someone sort of jumps back theatrically like that when something's thrown at them, it does remind me of Frank Drebin fighting with a pillow on his face.
You may have a malfunction. Dong. And that's what I would call a plummy English accent. Some people will become.
He's quite good at the voice, isn't he?
Yeah, brilliant. I don't know if it's dubbed or anything, but he's very good.
Did you know Andreas Wisniewski was also in Mission Impossible?
We do know.
But you don't notice he's there. And it's like, oh. He looks totally different.
You know what? I've just noticed like the burn mark on his hand.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever noticed that before either.
Continuity. KGB.
So last time I ordered from Unigate.
One star.
One star review.
I'll just get it at the supermarket.
Are they even still going?
Do you imagine he stole the wrong one or something? Because I don't know how that milk got on there. I don't know if they'd already done it earlier in the milk.
Sponsored by Unigate Dairies.
You imagine if he stole the wrong one and just basically lazily lobbed semi-skim milk at people. Harriet looks pretty chilled out.
Well, taken over by Foods conglomerate Greencore in 2011. There you go, fun fact.
I love the fact Becca always considers the business news.
Business news.
You go back and listen to our Superman 4 show.
Business news.
Becca's done a lot of business research for that film.
Well, there wasn't a lot to say about the film, so I thought, right, let's look into the...
This film shit, what should we do? Corporate takeover?
Let's delve into the financial side.
Yeah, you were telling us about Ted Turner and shit like that. Oh, he does
I
not.
learned a lot during that film.
He doesn't look convincingly unwell there, does he? That's like Roger Moore passing out at the Spy Who Loved Me.
Around the back of that house are some lovely gardens. You just go through that gate.
Well, you'd be disappointed if you walk around the back and it's just a little backyard.
But no, I can definitely highly recommend a visit to Stone House. They do lots of events there throughout the year. Lots of family events as well for kids.
Don't drink the fucking milk, though.
No, I would say avoid the Unigate van. And look out for...
Freddie Gray, look at Freddie Gray massively overacting here.
Of the intelligence community. I like the idea that just all
I love the fact you think you're in the intelligence community. You turn up for a fucking cup of tea every couple of years and that's it.
We've got a bit more to say in this film rather than going,
it's almost,
all the time.
It's almost if there's like a circle of friends that they just all
Yeah, meeting with a PM this afternoon. He doesn't know who the fuck I am. He's left me to rot in this ministry forever.
That's it, yeah, he's like, screw you, PM's left you on your own.
Some shit's gone down at the safe house today. Who are you? When I first saw this in the cinema, this was odd after Roger Moore. Him struggling over his orders and stuff like that. That just felt so not James Bond because we were used to Roger Moore.
He's a new Bond, he's edgy. He says, no, I'm going to push you back. I'm going to challenge you on this.
But now this just seems so fucking cliche, like Bond going rogue all the time.
Yeah, this is what Craig does throughout his whole era. He's like,
it would be weird. It would obviously be weird if it was just like M just gave him a mission, goes like, all right, fair enough, well, I know where to go.
Running all the way.
That felt really weird to me because he was like, issue them orders. This is your mission, Bond, and he's like, yes, that's fine, sir. No problem. And I just like, what? No, this does not compute.
I think the fact he probably spent time growing up building sandcastles with Blofeld was more of a shock.
Obviously that was very alien.
I wonder if they're going to retcon that.
Oh.
I don't know. Look, we know the car from this film's in it.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing.
Just be glad if it ain't constant DB5 every 2 fucking minutes.
No, it won't be.
I know the DB5's probably in it, but...
There is somebody that I know who is on the very edge. It's something to do with the marketing for Aston Martin. He's literally on the very edge, and he's had to sign umpteen non-disclosure agreements and things like that.
And he told me.
And he said no. He just the Aston doesn't, obviously the DB5 doesn't feature in it that much. It's more to do with the Valhalla, I think it's called.
Yeah,
and obviously
that's a hypercar, not a supercar, which is
Supercar.
Well, if you
It's just the way you said it. Sorry, Dave. I think that's.
But yeah, it's a hypercar. It's a bit. I can't really see Bond in it, but we'll see. Whatever.
We don't know if it's going to be either the villain's car or Lashana Lynch's car. I reckon it's not going to be either.
What,
of the two.
007?
Yes. Well, we don't know. It's purely speculation at this stage.
Look, Q, he's loving it.
Hello, Q. Ooh.
He's loving this scene.
80s design. Look at that.
One of my favourite James Bond dies, where they actually like loop in an actual full wolf whistle, and it cuts to outside, and MI6 just blows it.
That's funny. Oh, bang.
Having said that, Moneypenny does look a bit saucy there in a sort of below stairs kind of way.
No.
He does have a bit of a mischievous look, doesn't he, old Dalton, at times?
I love that sofa.
Now, how good's that for beating villains? They've designed a sofa. How is Bond going to go out into the field with that? He goes out on his Aston Martin with like a sofa stuck to the roof, and like Hinks attacks him or something, and he's like, "Fancy a sit down? Hang on, just let me get the sofa off my."
It could be more of a protection thing. Like you need to like sort of get into a safe area, so it could be like for. If there's attack on MI6, you could just
would that work in any environment? Like World War One, the Germans come across no man's land, and when they get to the British trenches, just a load of sofas.
So they just hang on, they're just covering that sofa. So they're just gonna leave that guy in there.
Well, we know Q Branch shuts very quickly. We remember that. They've all gone home within 5 minutes.
Yeah, they close at like 4 o'clock.
Well, it spends all its time waiting for 007 to walk in, and so as soon as he's like been in, it's like right, fine, we can go home.
Yeah,
now.
we can go home now. That's fine. They don't care about the other 00 agents.
I was thinking it would be nice to actually see more 00 agents in Bond films.
Yeah, we see them briefly in Thunderball, and The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah, they actually spend some time with them rather than, I know we have like 006, but actually have...
pop out for KFC or something.
The only time we see other 00 agents is when they die.
Yeah, I mean, like, why isn't Bond interacting with any missions? Like, if she meet up with like 005 or something,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are you up to, traffic control?
Salt corrosion. Trying to find some Caroline Bliss facts, other than what I mentioned on the review.
Good luck.
She's now a holistic therapist and author.
I don't mean to be harsh, because she's apparently a lovely woman and she wasn't given much to do, but she is just by far the least memorable Moneypenny of all of them. And it's, she was only in 2 films, they didn't give her much to do, there's reasons for it, but unfortunately she was bookended by like the Moneypenny, and then Samantha Bond was really memorable as well.
Yeah, I think also another element was the fact that they were trying to make Bond a little bit more less sexually active, like a little bit more like.
You're basically saying he was never going to try and finger her.
Yeah, so I think they were trying to make that a bit more rather than like sexualized kind of play.
Mind you, I'm trying to remember the Roger Moore film where he did try to finger Lois Maxwell. Didn't happen. I don't know what it says about me that I'm fascinated by the idea of an outtake of that. Right, Bond goes to the toilet, part 1.
Moneypenny, you're a feast for the eyes.
Hey, that guy's mop's making contact with the floor. Look, could have taught the Quantum of Solace fella.
Like Quantum.
No, this instantly reminds me of On Her Majesty's.
Yes.
The guy sweeping.
Oh yeah, the guy in the toilet.
Yeah, except he's not whistling Goldfinger, but yeah.
Good shout.
Again, there's something a bit Naked Gun about. Just imagine him saying "bingo," and pulling out a bingo card.
Bingo. Actually, yeah, mentioning.
You can imagine the gun going off in there and like Bond trying to cover it. You know, like, oh, excuse me.
This was Naked Gun. He'd be pulling out all kinds of stuff, wouldn't he? Be like,
yeah, all kind of fake business cards, flowers,
sex toys,
like string of handkerchiefs.
yeah.
Frank, we've got that Sure Grip suck machine you ordered. It's a gift. That was the one with it. Is this some kind of bus? Yes, it's very impressive.
It's a very impressive bus.
Hey Frank, this is missing evidence of that of that murder case. Oh my God, he was innocent.
Frankie went to the chair 3 years ago. I'm really hoping she's been burgled here and he hasn't just like hooked up with some messy woman.
Yeah, she's actually a bit special and just kind of leaves a trap everywhere.
Yeah. I'm quite tidy. I have been back to like flats that are a bit like that though, and you just go, this ain't gonna work.
In your experience, which is normally the worst? Is it the kitchen sink? Are they always like the worst ones?
Oh, the kitchens are always pretty bad. Yeah, they're washed up for days.
Ugh. Need to do it regularly.
Thing is, if they're not tidy, they're not normally that clean either. I don't mean personal hygiene. I mean like you go in the bathroom and it looks like the bathroom hasn't been cleaned for a long time.
Mm.
But she has been burgled, so it doesn't matter. So I'm sure her bathroom is clean.
Well, that photo shoot picture she's got of York.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dodgy photo, isn't it?
They've always got like actors' mugshots, haven't they?
Yeah.
It does look a little bit like a mugshot.
I bet it's like CVs on the back of that.
Have been in other films such as The Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
Oh. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may have seen me in other films such as Chimpanzee.
I've played numerous villainous roles in 80s
dodgy
thrillers.
80s action films.
There was he was subject of a sort of social media hoax about 2 years ago. It was announced he died. Jeroen Krabbe. Or Jeroen Krabbe, I think it's pronounced. But yeah,
Jeroen Krabbe.
He's there was all the tributes started coming in. I think even a couple of news outlets picked it up, and it turned out to be fake.
Did TMZ report it?
I don't think so, because the funny thing is, TMZ is really not my thing, but they're normally accurate.
When it comes to celebrity deaths, they're like the most reliable one.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But not on anything else. But
I can't imagine them having them like saved in my browser or something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's a bit like when you get an announcement in film. If it's from Variety, it's accurate. The Hollywood Report is nearly always right as well. And TMZ is a little bit like that for celebrity. When they announce things, they're normally correct. Well, that's my perception anyway. Now, that little trick of changing her in the phone box there is done remarkably quick. That's quite impressive.
That's done super quick.
I know.
That guy always reminds me of the actor who played Felix in Diamonds Are Forever.
Norman Burton.
Yeah, I don't think nothing. Yeah, just.
No, they do. They've got a similar
bit
build and
similar.
hairstyle, yeah. Hey, why was she just leaning down? I haven't even finished yet.
He does look mildly pissed off, Tim, doesn't he? So it's just say
No, she sat up, he is. That's a good little joke.
His driving looked really fake, like he was just moving the wheel around and around, and it's like,
That's because they were on a
just fake driving.
projection, yeah. Very obviously back.
Is it like that? He said something like, "I'm not a motorist," something like I would do.
Yeah, right, we got the point. Yes, all right.
Get in. Why don't you learn the violin? Oh, he heard me.
Why didn't you? Why didn't I learn the violin? Because you'd have found something to fucking whinge about with that as well, probably.
Or play the viola because it's smaller. Jazz FM.
Look at that. Look how high tech that is.
That's called a car radio, children.
Yeah.
It's got. Oh my god, is that a tape deck?
Yeah, these things are called cassettes.
And it's got computer controlled written on
Auto reverse. He looks quite impressed with that line, I do.
it. You know that's meant to be high tech because there's lots of like close-ups of them using it.
Lots of buttons.
Yeah.
And the jello. Just jello. Meow, meow.
Time for a bit of action.
Yeah. I love music.
Time for a bit of throwback. Bond and his gadgets.
Yeah.
Do you think Dalton was as almost like embarrassed by this as people make out?
No, not really. I think I could feel it on certain lines more in the next film than this one. The line that I always think you did not want to do that line is when he says, no, when it looks like he came to a dead end in the next film. Because he spits that out and leaps straight onto something else. Like, I've got to say this line. Say it really quick.
Got to have a quippy line.
He's not good at that, you know. It's all right to think he's the best Bond. It's all right for him to be your favourite. But, like, you just cannot deny that when they give him funny lines, he doesn't really do them that well.
Yeah, it's the same with Craig, really. I think.
I don't agree. Craig's brilliant at the lines.
No, he can do them, definitely. But to me, it just seems like they don't... You think of all the kind of Bond quips, I tend to think of like Connery or Roger Moore, definitely, or maybe like Brosnan.
But that's because Roger Moore had a joke every 4 fucking seconds.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
I kind of feel like somebody who's serious and wants to take the role seriously.
I genuinely think there are more laughs. The only Roger Moore film that's funnier than Casino Royale, and I mean that, is Spy Who Loved Me. Like, for all people say, it's really dour or it's not Bond or whatever. I think there's about half a dozen laughs, or at least broad smiles, if you like, in Casino Royale. And apart from the first sort of 15 minutes of The Spy Who Loved Me, I did not find Roger Moore funny. Or he was good, but the lines weren't.
Well, it's all down to personal taste, isn't it? But that's just like my own personal opinion. And that's your personal opinion.
No, there's loads of jokes in it. They're just not funny. But the start of The Spy Who Loved Me is great.
Well, again, that depends on your opinion. But yeah, it's just one of those things.
Obviously, my opinion depends upon my opinion, yes.
Yes, it depends. I was having this discussion with somebody. It's like, that's your opinion.
I think it's more to do with how the jokes are tailored to the actor.
Exactly.
I think Dalton can be funny. I just don't think they quite figured out.
No, they haven't figured out
how to get him. No, how we can deliver them.
He's funny as fucking Hot Fuzz.
He's sending up that whole genre, isn't he? So,
you know, it's not quite his take. But like Roger Moore, if you take the first few minutes of The Spy Who Loved Me, like every line is fucking brilliant, really, really brilliant. But like the rest of the films, it's just a lot of goofing around, and much of it's not that funny. Much of it, you know, there's probably the odd line in most of his films that are all right. But like Casino Royale doesn't emphasise humour particularly, but at least half a dozen times there was a genuinely funny line or funny moment. Just better written. But like, yeah, we've got to leave The Spy Who Loved Me out of that, which isn't my favourite Roger Moore film, but it is the funniest. That's his funniest film.
A dry ice pizza, please.
He's sort of known for those kind of roles.
Although the end of Moonraker, where he's waving his knob around, is quite funny as well. But he is in my head anyway.
Take me around the world one more time. But I think because like
he's attempting re-entry, sir.
Basically, I remember describing that scene as him waving his knob around and then going, "Well done, James."
Even though he's got some, more comedy lines in Spectre, I still kind of think that like Daniel Craig, his Bond, and also Tim, they're both quite serious about their roles and take their role, quite seriously. That's kind of why I think any sort of, well, they say funny lines, but it doesn't quite sit right for sure. But still, they deliver their line as best they can.
And
only adds to the
he just doesn't like delivering them. You can just feel it.
Adds to the rich tapestry.
Yeah, but like I would take less comedy and more laughs, if you know what I mean. Just generally,
definitely.
Because I mean, Brosnan was given line after line after line, and hardly of them were funny. Hardly any of them were funny. They were just cramming in lines that just, it's like, well, is that the best
just
you can
depending
think
whether they land or not.
I mean, they're not always him either. Global warming is a terrible thing. That's the best you can fucking do.
Saved by the Bell was awful.
Saved by the Bell was pretty bad.
Most of the lines in Dine of the Day were awful.
But with global warming is a terrible thing. I thought you've just written a line in the script to remind you to write a line in the script.
Yeah, literally. Insert a line about global warming
here. I haven't
here.
written that yet.
Insert a line about global warming here.
Yeah.
Then you got some dodgy clangers like they'll print anything these days.
I hate that.
And beg your pardon, forgot to knock.
See, a lot of people refer to that line as really liking it.
There's a draft. Buy me a pint.
Buy me a pint.
Oh, no.
But then you got draft and pint.
Laughed.
I don't know, some pub lingo, I don't know.
When they're a bit incongruous, they're all right, because I don't actually mind, beg your pardon, forgot to knock, because that's totally
That's
incongruous with where he is and all that kind of shit.
Just do.
The second least funny line of the two. I love We've Nothing to Declare. He did deliver that well, because he kind of bellows it, and it's all... Whereas, I think that line kind of ruins it. It's like, shut up, he's just done the good line.
Cara's like, I need a line.
And you're a fucking B-lister anyway, shut up. He's James Bond, he's the funny one. They kept having to reshoot this because it kept going off in one direction, didn't it? Because like they're not the same weight as each other.
Okay.
That's not her on there, that's a mannequin or
No,
something.
that's a man in a wig.
Man in a wig. Yeah.
Like a Goldeneye and Goldfinger. It's a
It's
bloke in a
Rick
wig.
Parfitt of Status Quo.
Oh.
Film starts to go downhill a little bit from now.
Well, as soon as you get introduced to the main bad guy.
The bad guys aren't very good in this film.
So, to you, if you were giving us a little bit of a rewrite, what would you do to make the bad guys?
Well,
better?
in your view, put loads of blowjobs in it. But for some reason, you seem to think my scripts would be laden with this. What would I do to the bad guys? I honestly don't know. This is where I'm not a writer. I can sort of point out where things aren't really working, but I'm not sure why they're not working. I mean,
I think it's just to do with the times, isn't it? I mean, you still got the Cold War rumbling on in the background.
I don't think it worked at the time, though. I think it was always a weak part of this film.
It's Joe Don Baker as not Jack Wade CIA.
I don't like him as Wade either, so it might be him, I'm not sure.
He's not a very good, like, obviously he's bigger than he thinks, you know, he's got a massive ego. John Rhys Davies instantly raises up any scene that he's in.
He's just a bit of a... His character's just a bit of an insane guy.
Bit of a knob, really, isn't he? He's just
well,
a crazy nut.
you know, he's there, like, sort of... You know,
I think Becca's closer. He's just a bit of a knob. That's the point.
Yeah.
He's got nowhere near the
just
power and influence he thinks he has.
I do like
He's
Joe
a bit
Don
of a
Baker,
loud
but his
guy.
character is just a bit of a knob.
He's not a real military man. He was kicked out.
No.
So he's actually.
He's not really a war hero.
He's almost playing the part of a villain rather than an actual one.
It's quite interesting in itself because it's a more layered role. If he's kind of playing a character, he's playing a character. But at the same time, it's like, really?
I think the thing that's sort of just not selling it to me, like, you see is, like, you know, his guys, his guards and that, and they're all, like, dressed in military and are behaving as if they're, like, they're still in the army. When in reality, they must be like, oh, fuck's sake, do we have to really do all this shit?
Yeah.
Like, isn't this just... So, instantly, when you're in that world, I just cannot imagine that working. I can't imagine people would generally would want to, like, do that shit. They rather, like, work for someone else.
I mean, apart from the timings where they are up against it in the final scene, obviously to stop all the opium or whatever, he's actually bested quite easily. You know what I mean? Pushkin has the better of him here, and Bond and him work out what's going on quite easily and thwart the assassination attempt quite easily. They're actually just a bit fucking lame, the pair of them. But what doesn't help is, I think he was a bit wasted, but you're walking in the last film and you got Robert Darby next time. So they're sandwiched by better villains. The Brosnan era wasn't great for villains, but he's just weak. But the whole appeal of this film is the slightly Fleming-esque tone. Dalton actually, for me, rescuing the series, because it was becoming tea time family fare. It was becoming like, enjoy it with a cup of tea and a fucking biscuit. It was just all so safe. Just towards the end, again, it's not a general comment on Roger Moore, even though he's not a favourite. I just mean the last couple, where he was massively over the hill. So bring him back in, this sort of vibrant guy who's got like a take on it, and it's different.
Oh,
That's the appeal of this film, not really the plot.
The appeal of this film are the exotic, gorgeous Viennese locations.
Such as Tangier.
Like the Volksopera and Tangier, obviously, not in Vienna. And Prater Park.
See, he's a bit cheesy here. This is where everyone says, oh, he's the literary Bond. I cannot picture the literary Bond doing this. Just looking so like indulgent and a bit cheesy.
I think he kind of looks
he's nicer.
A little bit similar to the literary Bond. I think that's what people mean.
Yeah, but he's way nicer.
He's the romanticised version of Bond.
He's just nicer.
Heathcliff version.
The literary Bond's a bit of a bellend.
Well, that's Fleming's point, though. He didn't. So that's
I know.
Nice
I think
character.
it's partly deliberate. Yeah, partly deliberate.
It's meant to be an ass.
But he's really caring. Him here reminds me of Bond with Melina.
Yeah.
And I do think of them as sort of sister films, this and For Your Eyes Only.
He always has like this warm chuckle, doesn't he, Dalton?
Yeah.
Ask James, what's his name? James Murphy. He can do a good impression.
Do you want to know why?
Want to know why?
Well, I've heard the impression.
But our listeners, I recommend it. What am I looking for? All the fun facts I've mentioned previously, so...
Carrying that thing around isn't that helpful all the time, is it, to the film? They've got to keep getting rid of it every time they turn up somewhere.
I mean, pretty much like, just like, whenever you see a couple with a cello, you're probably fine.
Shaken. That's dead.
What's dead?
And again, for a spy, it's like, just put any alert for anyone who orders like a vodka martini shaken, not stirred. Because probably no one else has it that way.
Tia Maria and, I don't know, Baby Sham, please. Hey, put this on, you'll look like a fucking magician.
Shazam.
It works. It is a bit Shazam.
Even that reminded me of For Your Eyes Only, the diving into the pool and stuff.
Blimey. Can you feel it inside
a bit of an Alan Partridge moment. Your fingernail nearly touched it.
God, it's so hairy.
Kid stuff.
I looked a bit...
So this is why we know he's a bastard. He's cheating on his missus.
This is it.
Well, yeah.
Well, at least we haven't got Make It Last All Night playing in the background.
Yeah, that would just be irony if I played that in the background while I was with some woman.
Oh, Make It Last All Night.
Make it last 3 minutes and 40 seconds is what it should be called. Make it last all of one song.
Bet his henchmen just feel like a right dickhead every time we have to.
I don't know if Vishnevsky feels stood there in a Speedo now. But looking back on that, it's like, it's all a bit Commonwealth Games. The film's a bit dead when it's just these lot on the screen as well.
It probably worked better if it was just if it didn't have what's his face Whittaker. If Whittaker wasn't in it, he could easily just be like Yogi and Yogi acting on his own.
Yeah, possibly, and then he goes a bit more menacing. Yeah.
She already got a decent henchman, so...
Yeah. Very good. Whereas, like, any scenes where it's just, like, Darby and his crew are brilliant. But then again, a little bit of an unfair comparison because he's one of the best villains in the entire series.
Mm. And given, like, an actual plot and character.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a Michael G. Wilson cameo, it's sort of how you do it in and around here, just sat in the crowd. Oh, she enjoyed that look.
And that lady at the back didn't know whether to stand up or not.
And for my next trick...
Yes, and for my next trick I shall produce a rabbit from underneath this coat.
Yeah. It malfunctions and there's just like, you know,
God.
fucking bunting trailing out behind her. She shot for him. She shot blanks.
Shot blanks, really?
Yeah. Fortunately, he shot blanks too, so...
Oh.
Well, he missed, didn't he?
Ruined by all the...
Deliberately.
Shh.
I'll see this problem when the film's actually fairly decent. We end up watching it.
So if they all have names, do the cheaper ones have like slightly more down market names? Can you buy a Stradivarius called like Lee or Dean?
Or Jez. Mine didn't have a name. I don't recall mine having a name.
Probably was it a Stradivarius though?
No, I can tell you it wasn't. With our school budget, no, it certainly wasn't.
Exactly. You said all Stradivarius have names, not all cellos.
No, I didn't say that, did I?
Yours should have been called like Mindy or something.
Mindy.
Really cheap one.
A typical 90s name.
Chantel.
Yeah, no, Chardonnay or something like that. Chardonnay, alright.
I don't know what it is,
really
but...
risky advert pop-up.
Sorry?
I don't know what it is, but I don't think Bond belongs on a roller coaster.
It doesn't. It just...
Do you want another ride?
That doesn't look right, does it? Dodgems. And he's delighted with all of it, and it's a quick like
really
montage almost of all the like little bits he's up to.
He's won all of it.
Oh, he's a great shot. Look. Oh, look at that. Quite the protrusion.
Wins that crappy toy.
Yeah, Bond getting scared by...
Oh, bit of bonding. Not that kind of bonding. But that's about to happen. Here we see the gentleman, dressed as an emperor penguin, about to go into the natural environment and take the lady in the fanny.
Yep.
Taking the lady for a ride.
You'll be able to see better. Let's go up here on our own. You'll see better. Still listening to that same song.
He's addicted to it. He's in one of those things where like, I just can't listen to anything else.
Yeah.
I fucking love to pretend as me.
I mean, when he went to the premiere and like they've gone with Aha, he must be devastated. Brought to you by Carlsberg.
You smooth bastard.
It's impossible. No, I'll show you. No, exactly. We're not going to be together for long, so don't worry about it.
Yes, I'm not what they call a long-term commitment kind of thing.
No. Yeah, he doesn't really. He's not really in it for the long term, is he?
I mean,
There's
to fair,
a lot of noise on one of these lines.
I mean, to fair, when you're like a spy who like travels the world like on a daily basis, I can't really sort of see long term relationships on the horizon for you.
Yeah, you just come on the train every night, Reginald Perrin style. It's not going to work, is it?
Which, to be fair, kind of explains why there's a woman in each film, because I think most of the Bond girls kind of like know that this is just.
They don't know though. They find
they
out,
don't.
but they don't. Yeah. The excuse is never, well, they were crap anyway.
No, I mean, I imagine if you're getting with someone like James Bond, I can't imagine you're thinking, yes, he's husband material. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm just imagining like Goldfinger, the credits start, and like a few seconds in they pause, and you just hear Sean going, "God, you're shit."
What's that?
No, not like that. Grip it properly, right? And then in the next film, Domino.
I've heard about sloppy blowjobs, but fucking hell.
Yeah. Bond films miss that snappy dialogue. That's brutal, isn't it? You don't see it, but it's brutal.
Death scene.
Yeah, but it could easily sort of just like had him like say in the background, "Ouch!" That really hurts.
That really hurt. Put the door there, seriously.
Bond! He got an aspirin.
Just catches his ankle.
Do the plaster.
Smash behind him, you bastard! I'm off to fucking wreck some kid now.
Traumatized for life.
Yeah. Where are you going? Fuck up some kid.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. Act natural. To be fair, he's standing out. There aren't many tuxes there, are there?
Yeah. I'd be terrified of tuxes from now on. Oh yes, I got the message all right.
Bit of a double meaning because she doesn't know what he means. We are just watching it now, folks. Hope you're enjoying it.
all my fun facts have dissipated.
To be fair, on the quality so far, it's probably your favourite bit of the show.
I do like it, definitely.
How many of
that
our
bit where you were silent was amazing.
How many of our listeners do actually watch the film with us when they do commentary, or do just?
I know some do. So I've even been sent like screenshots of it before, where they'll have like YouTube on their laptop beside the TV.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I guess it's just different, isn't it? Because with commentaries, oh god, I've forgotten his name. That's really embarrassing.
J.R.
Hartley. No, Tom Caldwell, that was it. Yeah, Tom Caldwell, Brendan Shane Matala, and Chris Haig's Hitchcock podcast. Good evening.
Right.
The psycho commentary, yes. Which I'm itching. I've listened to like twice already, but I just need to find time to sit down and watch the film and listen to it alongside as well. Yeah. And also on the Jerry Anderson podcast, Chris Dale has a section called The Randomizer, where he picks a random episode of a Jerry Anderson series. And also I only own some of them, I don't own all of them. So for things like Torchy and Tools, or especially a lot of the early series, I sort of have to listen, and the ones that I do own, I can watch along to. I can listen along to whilst I'm watching, or very often just listen to them on my commute. So I don't always have time.
I've never watched along with the commentary at all, but I know I would normally listen to them if it's a film I know.
Yeah, definitely. I do try to aim, to watch along if I can, listen along if I can. if I can do it, I'll try.
I can't wait for the Gus Van Sant version, of course.
Ugh.
Oh look, he's having a wank.
Avoid.
Yeah, that's literally the only different bit of the film. They undermine the character entirely by having him masturbate.
It's an odd decision to make. Let's make a shot by shot, like for like film.
What's missing on this shot though?
There are lots of
I'll include in
differences.
masturbate.
Sorry, Becca?
It changes the whole dynamic because it's just basically where does it all come from?
He played as a bit of an innocent. I don't know. Anyway,
there's lots of things I would like to unpick about that film. I know it's like 20 plus years old now. But there are lots of really weird and wonderful things I would like to unpick about his
Kevin
directorial
Smith's right
choices.
though. You do see Anne Heche's arsehole.
And also her character is really bad at maths. So she can't take it. You know, she has to add 400,000 or whatever the new figure is.
That's the only other thing. They've multiplied the money she steals by a factor of 10.
Yeah, obviously, because like 4,000 isn't a lot of money these days.
Wasn't it 40,000?
40,000, that was it. Yeah,
40
a lot of money these days. But still not a lot of money these days.
Yeah.
And she adds to it rather than subtracts.
Right.
But there's so many other things. It's not actually a shot-for-shot remake. There's a few different shots inserted.
Great, you should have brought lilies.
You can still hear like his Welsh brogue.
Sometimes you can, yeah.
Comes out occasionally.
He looks the fucking tipsiest.
This is like one of the few scenes where you think Bond is actually going to do you. You think, oh bugger, he's got me here.
He looks like business here though.
Don't mess with him.
It's very rare that a guy looks good wearing a tan jacket.
No.
Tan suit.
Yeah, I mean, remember Obama?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, for the days where that was a national scandal over there.
Like, what is he doing?
What's he doing?
Who does he think he is? Oh.
It did look shit on him though. Suits Dalton though.
He looks good though. He does look good
though. Craig seems to be addicted to grey. They need to vary it a bit.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in grey for a lot of this new film.
No. Right.
In a suit that's too short.
The nipples.
Oh, so boob.
Cut out of the TV.
See, that's actually quite brutal, really.
Yeah, you don't see that version, do you?
Oh, I thought they were lovely, Chris. That's very harsh.
I just noticed the paisley wallpaper as well.
I love. Yeah, you can tell. Becca's basically a heterosexual lady because we're going, look at them nipples, and she's going, ooh, paisley wallpaper.
I'll look elsewhere.
Becca just put her neck out, whipping her head round to a boy.
Oh, it's different everywhere you look. Like one of those old IKEA adverts. Check out the chintz.
Yeah.
Or neat. Then I must die.
All right, Gimli.
He's like the best Gimli you ever did see.
Yeah. The only Gimli we've seen.
The only Gimli we ever did. Well,
I was gonna let that detail go, Chris.
Who was the? Who played him in the animated version? Not John Rhys Davies.
Yeah,
Those ones haven't been remade yet.
The animated one's pretty bad. The TV series is coming, but it's Tolkien world as a part. I think it's in the second age.
What does that mean?
I think Lord of the Rings is set during the third age. It's a different era, Chris. I don't think all the characters we know are going to be there. That reminds me of Craig swinging around in the bathroom to fight.
Yeah, it's very Craig, isn't it?
It's great. If he can rock a tan suit, he can also make a tan card, a tan anorak work.
Video game, I don't know.
I think his location helps with that as well.
Yeah.
Can't find it.
I'm glad they didn't go with the magic carpet ride.
A whole new... Oh, not that one.
What are you talking about?
Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Beautiful, though. Beautiful song.
He serenades Jasmine on a fine carpet. Yeah, that.
Hey, girls, look at my rug.
That series would have been good fun, but
yeah, that Ariel had made no connection.
You said earlier, the bit with Alan Partridge.
That was so
The
funny.
bit where the Ariel hit the guy in the face was Alan Partridge going, "Fuck off."
I just saw that and I thought that's perfect for what we need tonight.
Looking for it on YouTube. I could not find it. I don't know where he's embedded that from.
That Ariel made no contact with him whatsoever.
Chris, I don't know if you've seen it, Chris. Our Twitter page.
Oh yeah.
It's the Living Daylights trailer with Alan Partridge talking over it. It's brilliant.
It's really it's so funny. Do check it out.
Fuck off!
Stop rubbing your fanny on me. Those are quintessential 80s models. Pure straight out of a catalogue.
I can't find information about
Not the
animated
pages in the
buildings.
catalogue I used to read as a boy. Where they would stand wearing lingerie and looking into middle distance.
Is. Yeah, I think that seems a bit creepy though. I don't know. I just find it a bit creepy scene.
They could have cut Felix Leiter out of this film very, very easily.
Yeah, I didn't need to be here really.
Problem is, he didn't make enough impact to play Felix in the next film, given the storyline. So, and it undermines him even further that you bring David Hedison back. So,
Yeah, it's a bit random. The great
Am I
and sadly late
right?
David Hedison.
am I right in saying all of the Felix Leiters, with the exception of Jeffrey Wright, have now passed away?
Unfortunately, I think you might be right.
I think they all have.
Has John Terry passed away?
Oh no, he might still be going.
He might. I thought I read.
Let's have a look.
I'm sure I read the other day.
The lone surviving Felix.
Oh. Are any of the Felix Leiters anyone remembers?
John Terry. Yeah, John Terry's still going.
He's still alive. I recognise him now. He's been in other stuff. I don't recognise him from this.
Full Metal Jacket. Oh, The By Cement. Oh, really? I totally forgot about that. Zodiac film I should not mention.
Zodiac's what the Fincher one?
Let's have a look.
What, like Fincher's best film?
Best ever film. Yeah.
He was in a series of. He was in the second
He was
series.
in Lost,
Oh,
which I didn't watch.
why he's not in anything then? Can't be found.
CSI.
Okay. I think all of the other Felix Leiters.
Law and Order.
Mm.
24.
Been around, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, it takes longer to recite his filmography than he gets in this film.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gone. That's it.
He pops up towards the end.
Well, I'm keen to see My Cement again now.
Well, aren't we all?
And obviously, Zodiac.
Fincher is a director I've always admired rather than liked.
We're gonna have to do a Fincher series.
Seven, I really didn't enjoy. I only watched it once. Thought it was like perfectly fine, but really did not warm to it. And Zodiac's one of his few films that I genuinely loved.
I had a bit of a different route to that.
Evidently so, but I never liked Seven.
Yeah, well.
And Fight Club's like very clever in that, but like I've no desire to rewatch it. I find him a very clinical filmmaker.
Yeah, it's quite methodical, isn't it? It's all kind of very, very clean and very grand neuter.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey obviously did the 7 deadly sins in that film, and largely stuck to one thereafter.
Just pick that one.
He obviously picked his favourite.
Thou shalt not fuck kids. Sorry.
slap not safe for work on this now. Damn it.
It's all safe for work if you wear headphones.
Our usual squeaky clean reputation has been foiled.
I mean, no one goes into work listening
Hang
to
on,
a
hang on,
podcast.
I wasn't doing any of it, Becca. Like...
I mean, surely no one goes. No, people do listen to us at work. I'm sure they don't go in and send it to a Bluetooth speaker.
No, yeah.
You're sat in the office and suddenly it's like,
No,
It's R-rated.
no, I'm going to make everyone listen to what I'm listening to. 'cause...
Everyone listen to my certificate 18 rated podcast.
Thing is, right, when we record, we usually record on a Sunday night. That's not the case this time, but we often record on a Sunday. And I always listen to it to work out roughly how much editing there is to do. So I'll always like download my recording of it, have a listen to that the next day, come home, edit it that night. And editing is quicker because I've heard it, and hearing it hasn't distracted me because I've had it on like at work or something. The problem is I don't tell lies in life generally. The one exception is when I fall about laughing and people ask what I'm listening to.
You can't say.
I can't say me.
I'm listening to myself. But you are really funny.
Yeah, but in my defence, that was a fucking cracker. What did you say? I don't know, something about minge or something. You know, it's
Well, people think you were going insane, though, won't they? You'd be like...
Well, that's the point. A couple of times I have fallen about laughing at my own jokes, right? And somebody's gone, "What are you listening to?" And you go, "Oh, podcast. What is it?" And I'll have to make some shit up. I think once or twice I've gone, "This is embarrassing," but it's actually me.
I'm actually listening to myself.
Yeah.
You can say, "Oh, there's a podcast called Do You Expect to Talk." Do you know it?
Well,
I can recommend it.
strangely enough, I've got an identical sense of humour to myself.
One of the hosts, do you know?
So it stands to reason that I'd enjoy my own podcasts because we make the sort of podcast we would like.
No.
But like, yeah, you listen to it the next day, and sometimes it's normally you forget you've said something, or you know, not even me. I just mean us. You forget like there was an exchange, and then you listen to it back and you go, "Yeah, that was funny."
Have you ever laughed at your own jokes?
There was one. There was one day I drove down to County Hall because I had to go to the council for something with work, and it was a Monday. And I pull into the car park, and suddenly there's like a parking attendant stood there. There normally isn't, but if it's like full or that it's getting full for parking, and I pulled down, I rolled down the window, and just as he went to speak to me, my own voice blared out from the car, and I thought, "Oh fuck, it's so."
Oh no! Did you say something rude?
No, it's just obvious I'm listening to myself.
That's funny.
It just seems really egotistical. It isn't. Strangely enough, to edit, you've got to hear it, and it is much easier to listen to it through once first.
Sure, that makes sense. I'm sure other editors do it too.
I like how we're getting this sort of plot exposition by Narcos is actually in the toilet having a dump.
I like it's actually on the subtitles. Flushes.
Yeah, she was on the
and then it goes Bond Rose, and I don't know if those two are related. You know, like, God, that smelled bloody awful when he opened the door. Then.
Left to right stinker in there.
Yeah. Like blue ice.
God.
That was the explanation in that Michael Caine film. It was like a hunk of frozen piss from an aeroplane or something. That hit me like blue ice.
And that's the title of the film. That's right.
Yeah, the frozen piss didn't test as well.
God.
Coming soon. Frozen piss, starring Michael Caine and Sean Young, who's also a bit mental.
I remember that film being advertised, and the poster of it was kind of Bond-esque.
It actually looked quite cool, except Michael Caine was a bit old for the way the film was marketed. I can't say for the end result necessarily. Yeah. If you ever read up on Sean Young's behaviour, it's quite entertaining. Not in that film, just generally. Gluing James Wood's cock to his leg. Yeah. To be fair, mine barely reaches my leg, so that's quite impressive. Well done, James.
Well done, James.
Yeah, mine's more, your James Woods. Mine's more sort of nibbling. Third act of this film's not as good, although the stunt's amazing. It's one of the best stunts in the whole series.
Oh, what, the stuff on the back of the plane?
Yeah, it's because it's moving around so much, and I don't think they allowed for how much, and it was just slamming them around all over the place. John Bowe. I always think of the first Prime Suspect when I see him, because he was the Prime Suspect in the first Prime Suspect.
Fun fact.
He also played Ross Poldark in a one-off in the 90s.
Oh, right. I didn't know there was so many iterations
confirm.
of Poldark.
Well, what it was is the HTV or something bought some of the books 20 years afterwards, and they went to like Robin Ellis and Angarad Reese, the original stars, and tried to get them, but didn't offer them enough money. And when they said no, they ended up with John Bowe and Mel Martin instead. And it's really shit. Because I really, really love the 1970s Poldark. That's not to do down the current one. It's just the original's got my heart, so I'm not that interested in the new one. It might be brilliant. I'm just not that bothered. And so when they brought it back with like them, I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't exactly excited to see it anyway. It was really bad. Now, is this the guy from Brookside?
Don't know.
Wasn't he in Brookside or something?
I think it might be something along those lines, wasn't it?
Well, that's certainly the guy from Coronation Street.
Which one?
Well, it is, yeah.
Art Malik.
Malik.
Is he in Coronation Street?
Yeah, he turned up in Coronation Street.
I love that when you've got like these famous actors, like people like Ian McKellen and people like that, turn up in Corrie or EastEnders, these kind of shows.
And he was also the bad guy in True Lies.
Yes, he was.
What, Art Malik? I saw True Lies a couple of years ago. I was a little bit disappointed, but the only reason was it had been built up and built up and built up. I was told it was this hidden gem. Well, not hidden gem because it's known, but like, believe it or not, it might even be his best film and stuff. And when I watched it, it's like, no, it's not.
It's the least Cameron film of his career.
I'd go along with that. It doesn't feel very James Cameron at all.
Part of me I think it was just like a little bit of a breather before he went on to do his biggest project.
Yeah.
So I think it must be in between Terminator 2 and Titanic. So I think it would have been just like, oh, I'll just kind of do.
I'm not going to argue with anyone that it's like a bad film or anything. I don't mean that, but it just didn't do a vast amount for me.
Brookside.
What part did he play in Brookside? I didn't really watch it, but I'm aware of some
Bradley.
names. No, I don't know that name. I thought being Liverpool...
He's also in Holby City.
I thought they could at least call him Terry something or other. Oh, the Roger move, look!
He's also in The Bill. And Casualty.
I love a Roger move. That did look like it hurt. Slamming his arm on a door.
Yeah.
And bread.
Closing a door? God, can I have a stuntman?
Did always like that line. It's like, we're free. We're in the middle of an air basin.
Yeah, you fucking dummy.
Free. What are you on about? It's for me to keep.
You can tell bomber jackets were the fashion of the time.
Yeah, even the cuts of the leather jackets in this film were very of the time as well. It's the only era they looked like that.
80s military chic.
I always wondered, what if they were like the wrong keys? They did open.
threw him towards him and he fucked off, and it's like, yeah. It's actually the canteen across the road, and it's closed at night, but you can let yourself in if you want a bacon sandwich.
It's all the outside locks of the building, not the one for the actual.
Not that I'm sure how big bacon sandwiches are in Afghanistan, but we'll go with it. Yeah, John Bowe is absolutely brilliant in the first Prime Suspect.
And was he indeed like the murderer in that?
Yes.
Oh right, so
yes.
he was prime suspect and
yeah. Yes, but had they called it the correct sub-suspect, that might have ruined any tension. First time I saw Zoe Wanamaker in anything as well.
I don't know why, but I think also when you have like someone who is like the prime suspect, I always think, well, obviously it's never going to be him, and it almost feels like a cheat to make it like the.
Yeah, but you've got his partner sort of defending him, and he's playing like a little bit bewildered's the wrong term, but he's playing convincingly like I am completely wrongfully accused.
Oh,
here.
I see.
And he does enough to give you a little bit of doubt.
Is it a little bit like Edward Norton in Prime Fear? In Primal Fear, where when he like.
Go on.
No,
Remind me.
No, because he's playing like a guy who has split personalities, and one of them's like supposed to be like really horrible and nasty. He's like commit this crime, and the other one's just like completely innocent, and then it sort of turns out that it's all just put on, like the real person is actually the real nasty one.
Right.
Spoiler alert for that film.
Yeah, no, that made me think more of Identity than anything else. Identity's a James Mangold film, isn't it?
Yeah.
I quite liked it. It got shitty reviews. I liked it though.
I think the problem with is that the one where like it's all in the guy's head.
Yeah, at a motel, all these people meet and they're suspects. It actually turns out like it's
that's
all
a good
going
film.
on. I liked it.
I saw that quite a few times at the cinema.
The problem with that is, I can only speak for me when I say this, but the problem is that you always feel like you've been cheated somewhat. It's always it's always
a bit of a,
it's on the same level, like it was all a dream, or
it is a bit like that.
or something just
There's
gets.
a lot of crashing around, please, guys. Be careful.
Oh, sorry, that's me. I was just dropping my phone for the nth time.
I know. I think every one of the nth is on the record.
I do apologise.
Don't worry about it. Don't matter. It's just like, please try to stop because I keep hearing thuds.
Sorry, everybody.
All right. I think you should apologise to our lovely listeners. Actually.
Well, this is who I'm apologising to.
Thankfully, so few of them are lovely that that's a very small number. So.
Oh, I think they're all lovely.
Are they?
Apart from no.
Anyway, yeah, no, I know what you mean, but it is like the film hangs on a grand reveal, really. So yeah, I get it. But as a one-off viewing, I really enjoyed it. I don't think I'd ever want to watch it again. There's no need to, but I did enjoy it. When they rode down the road there on the horses and he was waving at the crowd, it felt a bit Rocky too. I was hoping like children would like race after them and stuff. Nice work from the camels there. Daniel Day-Lewis played the part of a camel.
Right.
For 6 months to prepare.
I will say this: it is a nice sort of location jump.
They vary it quite nicely in this film, but though I think because Act 1 is so strong, I always think of this as a slightly dark, wet kind of European film. Not wet as in rain. It hadn't rained, but the roads were. It had rained before the events of the film, if you like. And whereas I think of the next film as his like bright sun-kissed one, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
This is basically For Your Eyes Only, but with just a far more appropriate Bond at that stage. Although Roger Moore's very good in For Your Eyes.
And a little bit better.
I think For Your Eyes Only would have been better with Tim in it, as good as Roger was, just because a couple of the very silliest jokes would have been excised. They wouldn't have written that in for Tim Dalton.
No.
I can see him like pushing BB away though, which wouldn't have been like. It would have probably been a bit more like, you know, he'd be a bit more umpty about it.
Yeah. Not sure they would have written that in, but they may have done. But I'm thinking more of like the parrot at the end and all that kind of stuff. They would have knocked all that out.
Well, they had a parrot in this.
The scene with Q wouldn't have had so many jokes around the identigraph. You know, it's a nose, not a banana, and all that shit, or whatever. I'm not sure that would have been there with Tim. Q branch still would have closed at record speed.
And yeah, Christ, how long were they in there for?
With like no cuts at all, so that's played as real time. There you go. I do like that film, but it's a Timothy Dalton away from being a much better film, and that's less Bond's performance and more the little bits that are tailored to Roger that wouldn't have been there with him. But you know, for me, 3 of the 5 80s films are really good, so I've got to be positive about John Glenn generally. Yeah,
because you would have had since Tim did start there, you would have like For Your Eyes Only, and you would have still had Dr. Bussy and View to a Kill, or with Tim Dalton, and I just wonder how that would be, how different those films would have been.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the 2 he did would be the 2 he did. For Your Eyes Only is very like one of his anyway, so that just leaves the other 2 that I can't kind of see him in. But then presumably they would have been a bit more tailored to him as well. I don't know. Octopussy I'm not very objective on, but if you look at like A View to a Kill, which I don't hate in the same way, but the main problem with A View to a Kill is it's actually quite boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically Goldfinger.
More or less, yeah. The plot is, but I mean, it's kind of a bit dull. And none of the.
So I do like the score. The score is very nice to listen to.
Yeah.
Parts of it are actually quite relaxing to listen to. So I'm too busy watching this film.
Score's lovely.
Trying to call me a horse's ass.
And hopefully some sex.
Ish.
Movie kissing's weird, isn't it? When you actually we've seen 2 people like sort of fake snog each other. It's just
yeah.
And then when you actually see actual tongue going in, like as if they're doing it for real, it just grosses you out. Go, oh god, no!
It's just like they gotta go home to their partners at the end of the day. That's weird.
Yeah.
I think it was the film Intimacy, which had Mark Rylance in it, and Kerry, can't remember her name, Kerry something or other, and they were interviewing her and like her husband or something about that film, and it's like she was going, yeah, it was a rough shoot for her. She was coming home exhausted every day, and then you watch the film and she's literally sucking Mark Rylance's cock on camera. It's like that's fucking. I'd struggle. I know it's make believe, but I'd struggle with that bit, I think.
Well, you would personally if you had some Mark Rylance's cock.
I draw the line there, Chris, if I'm honest. I mean, I don't think we can set a Patreon level high enough. Dunkirk? No, Mark Rylance.
Yep.
Done Mark.
Really?
It's like weird. How was your day at work? You know.
Well, what'd you like to know?
Darling, how was your day at work? Excuse me as I just like pluck some of my pubes out my teeth. And I'll tell you.
Yeah. And again, we're not talking about any alternative lifestyles here. We're talking about a monogamous couple where one of them goes off and sucks some bloke's cock on camera, and it's not porn either, right?
So what was this film you say?
Intimacy. Because he was into me, see? Yeah, no intimacy. Not
See,
violence.
and to
First
think,
thing I saw him.
I
I think basically I saw him in that getting his dick sucked, and the next thing I saw him in, like, he won an Oscar for.
was going to say like that. It's like he didn't win an Oscar for anything else, did he?
No, can you imagine showing that as a clip from the film? I think the next. I don't think I ever saw him because he did a load of stage after that, so I didn't see him in anything, and he became lauded on stage. And next thing I saw him, the time I saw him, he looked significantly older because obviously he was, and it was like Bridge of Spies.
You know, the funny thing, the first thing I saw him in was that Sean Penn action film Gunman.
I haven't seen it.
And I was like, who's this guy with a funny voice? Because he had a really funny, croaky voice in that film.
Right.
I don't think I've seen that one.
No, I haven't.
And now is the BFG.
Oh yeah, that's true. No, he's had sort of many iconic roles, really, hasn't he? So. I'm pretty sure I saw him on the stage at some point, possibly at the Globe. What was it? It'll come to me.
His dick must have been massive in the BFG.
I had a film called The BFD.
Let's see what else I've seen him in. Yeah, because I saw him as like a relatively young man, and then the next time I saw him, he was like middle-aged, and that happens. There's no criticism, but it was like, shit, I've not seen him in anything in between. Kerry Fox. I think she was in Shallow Grave, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. That was a good film.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's been in since then, though.
I'm just looking through to see if there's anything I've seen her in. Inconceivable. Was that the Ben Elton film?
Yeah. Oh, the film that was called Maybe Baby.
No.
The book was Inconceivable.
No, it is actually no. It's a different thing.
Oh, it's a different one.
It's same sort of topic, but different thing. That was Maybe Baby, yeah, which was dreadful. I don't know what happened to Ben Elton. He was really fucking talented in the 80s.
He's so more voice now, wasn't he? I think the last.
They're talking about bringing Blackadder back, and I just think, fuck it, don't. Just leave it.
It'd be interesting.
It'll be shit. That's the problem. Because like neither him or Curtis have done anything in recent years that tell me they could.
What has he been up to? I've done it on recently because I think he was coming to Salisbury for like a stand-up tour, but we couldn't make it.
I've seen him live a couple times in the 90s. But,
I've read like most of his books.
I read
I was
some.
a big fan of Blackadder, all that kind of stuff.
But yeah, you watch someone like Upstart Crow
News,
now, and it's like he's not good enough anymore. I don't want them to bring Blackadder back at all. Leave it. It was virtually perfect after the first series.
I mean, from the sounds of it, from what they're suggesting, I think wouldn't it be better if you just write a new character and do that idea then?
Yeah, rather than
if you're gonna set it at university, then just write a Blackadder-esque character and just do that instead.
Yeah. I'm hoping they won't do it. I don't know that they're far along in deciding to. We'll see. I mean, I'm not normally one to say don't make it, because like remakes, all that sort of thing. I think you still got the original. Just ignore it. I mean, I was reading Twitter the other day, and it was Facebook. Someone commented about Fast and Furious and was like, "They've got to stop making that shit." And I'm thinking, don't watch it. Don't fucking watch it. What is it? How is it damaging your life in any way?
Clearly, it's not made for you anyway.
I know, and it's just fucking snobbery anyway. And I'll tell you how I know that. It's because I was a victim of the exact same fucking... I was perpetrator of the exact same snobbery for years. But something like Blackadder was just perfect, and it was a moment in time. And I just think, like, you will soil it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they've already toyed with it by doing some they've done like one or two specials, haven't they? Or
Well, they did
or
one for
something.
the Dome, and it was dreadful.
Yeah.
Blackadder back and forth was really bad. Rick Mayall almost saved it with his version of Robin Hood. I've got one question for you. Why are you so great? You know, that was funny, but the show itself was dreadful. Kind of a metaphor for the Dome, really.
Yeah.
Much anticipated, and right.
Oh, this is awkward.
Yeah. Doesn't the headdress disguise him?
Major orcs.
Shit. What do I do? Just planting this bomb. Now it's gone all tits up.
Don't shoot.
Yeah, you'll destroy the plane. But yeah, I don't know. I'd much rather they just sort of did something new more than anything. Because then if it doesn't work out, then you haven't like sort of diminished Blackadder.
Mm.
But also, you know, if it turns out great, well, you've made another great thing, haven't you?
If they were still making amazing stuff, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I don't care that like they're all older. I don't care that it's like that long ago. None of that really bothers me if these guys, but they're not what they used to be. You know, Richard Curtis is not what he used to be. Ben Elton is really not what he used to be.
No.
Yeah.
Did you slightly off topic? Did you see that yesterday? Because that was written by Richard Curtis.
Yeah.
What do you make? I've not seen it, but what do you make of it?
It's okay, in that I didn't give it a particularly harsh review or anything, but there were bits in it that were spectacularly badly judged. I won't give that away for anyone listening, but there's one scene in the film I just sat open-mouthed. I was just like, this is one of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen in a film. And also, right near the end, what isn't giving anything away is, obviously, if it's a love story, there's going to be a period where they don't know they're meant to be together, and then they work it out at the end. Well, the bit where it's worked out at the end is spectacularly fucking creepy. It just is. Because he's on stage at Wembley, and what he does is just like, fucking hell, you've just massively invaded that woman's privacy. It's horrible.
Oh yeah, okay.
The other thing is,
it's that thing. I'm going to announce it to the rest of the world. It's like,
yeah,
why?
but he announces it, and there's like a hidden camera on her. It's disgusting. Fucking hated it. And it's played as sweet. It's played a little bit like, iconically, it's a little bit like when you see the start of Notting Hill and all the credits play, and you get like genuine press shots of up close on Julia Roberts. It's shot a little bit like that.
Yeah.
But she's having a private moment, not literally a private moment, backstage, but she's backstage and suddenly there's a camera on her and like 80,000 people looking at her while he announces all this shit. I thought it was fucking disgusting, personally. But he's ostensibly he's writing for the most mass market possible, which is not in itself a bad thing. But if it's for everyone, it's kind of for nobody. And the problem with that is he's written 2 films now that are ostensibly about music, the other one being The Boat That Rocked. It was known as pirate radio in the United States. And to watch those 2 films, you'd think music was something that was once described to him, rather than he actually like knew anything about it. Because you think, well, you know, he talks about what a massive Beatles fan he had. He is, right? And it is literally just a greatest hits. There's nothing remotely surprising in there, and there's no understanding of the difference between their earlier and their later stuff. The Beatles would not have produced their 1962 and 1969 stuff at the same time. They were fundamentally different artists by then. I thought, and yeah, you get no more insight beyond sort of goodness, innit? But I can see why Lily James is a star and will continue to be a star. The lead's really good. Nimish Patel, I think it is. He's pretty good. But it is such a by the numbers Richard Curtis film. You know, a group of people who were friends since childhood. You know what I mean? There's always a bit of that in his films. You know what I mean? It's a lot of his stuff is getting a little bit interchangeable. So, you know, it's a piss weak version of one of his 90s films.
I had issues with his last film, About Time. The
film was crap, but I will admit I've never cried as hard in my life.
Yeah, I did think it was an emotional ending, though I think its journey to get there was all over the fucking place, because it seemed to be like Richard Curtis had a bunch of ideas and was like, and then it'll be about this, and then it'll be about this. It's like, make your fucking mind up, because there's the stuff about it when it related to Dad. Yes, while it was emotional, but it's only emotional and relative when it gets you thinking about, you know, your own dad.
Yeah, my father died a year or so before.
Yeah,
of cancer.
So it's going to be raw.
I was still raw. And what was worse was, had I gone in knowing, I think I'd have been all right. But I didn't know. I didn't know that was in the film.
Yeah.
So when he suddenly got diagnosed with cancer, I can handle that, because like, people get diagnosed with cancer. I don't fall apart because my dad. Because why would you? We've all lost someone to cancer. But when he suddenly could have another day with his dad, I thought, oh fuck, that got me. I had to switch seats. I was crying audibly.
Yeah, I can imagine that. But
the two leads had no chemistry at all.
Well,
that didn't help.
It didn't help the fact that his character basically was a bellend. Yeah. Like, from the get go. I mean, I think within the first act, where he kind of went back in time to manipulate the day, so he ends up getting off with what's her face?
Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, Rachel McAdams, right?
Yeah.
You know, the guy who he, after doing a good deed, he missed his chance, so to speak.
Yeah.
They both play him off as if like, oh, what a bellend, when in fact, well, he had no signs of being a bellend at all. And the whole attitude just seemed to be like, from there on in, it was just like, it seemed to be, I don't think I like you. You just seem to be like using this gift as a way just to kind of like get whatever you want with it, and none of those sort of lessons occurred to him. It just the plot just seemed to just reevaluate himself, like, oh, well, use it as a gift, use it for this, use it for that, and there's no sort of realization of like, there are limits, or you lose something if you keep doing this, or
I think
do you know what I mean? There's no like.
I think it is right with me. Richard Curtis on the big screen, and we'll forget. I think he wrote The Tall Guy and stuff like that. But we'll go from like Four Weddings onwards.
Yeah.
His first all right. There's a central premise around Four Weddings and a Funeral. What if we literally set almost everything at Four Weddings and a Funeral?
Yeah.
But it feels almost like just a slice of life. It may not be our lives because they're posher people and all the rest of it. Notting Hill the same. But this century, much more. His films have been more based around a bit of a gimmick. So The Boat That Rocked is like, right, let's do something about pirate radio. Just on a theme, and about time. Let's make time travel the central bit. With this one, it's what if the Beatles, right? And I always get the impression that he signs up to do these films based around these interesting ideas, and I get the feeling he's not that interested in the central idea at all.
Yeah,
he's not interested in time travel. Look at the fucking method for it. It's just like, oh, whatever, we need to time travel. Just
get in a cupboard and clench your fists.
Yeah. So he's not that interested in it. And I honestly would swear, and I might be stealing this from somewhere because I feel like I've heard someone else say it, but it feels like a Beatles film written by someone who's literally heard that Beatles #1 compilation, and that's it.
Yeah.
Alan Partridge going through my mind,
The best of the Beatles.
The best of the Beatles. There's no insight, there's no anything to it. And I just think, well, why did you make a film about the Beatles if you're not fucking interested in exploring it? Because the answer to that is he's making something for the broadest, most feel-good film for the broadest audience possible. In the same way that like Bo Rap is a far less challenging film than like Rocket Man is. And I think it ends up like really, really damaging the film, because it would have been so much more interesting that like if the Beatles came along now and we'd never heard the Beatles, but everything it influence was still there. Would the Beatles be a big thing now? If they came along now, would there really be, this is the greatest music of all time, which the film presents it as without question, without reservation, apart from one Coldplay joke, literally, which tells you the age of the guy writing it in a lot of ways. What's a popular band? Oh, Coldplay, right? And I just think it would have been so much more interesting if it had come back, the Beatles were coming back and it just hit the public in a completely different way now, because we're in a different era, and maybe it wouldn't have the same effect, or maybe it would just have a different effect. But of course that's not what he's interested in making. But then I at least thought he would demonstrate like his love for that band, and I didn't feel it at all. You know, you've just heard a compilation album, you know they've made a film, that you know they've made music about some places in Liverpool, so you need to show that, and everybody knows Hey Jude. And you know, one of the jokes was Ed Sheeran's in it. Fucking hell. But anyway. I'm not, you know...
To do the next Bond theme?
Well,
apparently.
I actually don't give a shit. I don't care. You know, like... I
think he could probably write it or produce it, but...
I don't care. I really don't. I don't have an opinion on him, but people who seem to dislike him, it's like James Corden syndrome. So everyone is just like, you know, it's not enough to like fucking dislike him, but you want like his firstborn maimed as well, you know. And I don't feel.
I don't hate him that much.
He's not very good. Yeah, but people like do. You see him on fucking Twitter. He's just give
I don't follow. I'm sorry.
He's all right, but it's just like sometimes I just think like give it a fucking rest.
Mute.
But like, no, look at mute him. He's a nice guy, but it is just like you bang on about stuff a bit sometimes, and that's one thing. But it's like, I mean, he's still moaning about Spectre. It's fucking years ago.
Oh,
but like,
mute.
But the point is, like, if it's Ed Sheeran, fine. In this film, he's not an actor. You can see he's not an actor, and it shows.
He's playing himself.
But one of the jokes in it is he makes him change Hey Jude to Hey Dude, and it's like that's a joke from Peggy Sue Got Married. She loves you, ooh ooh ooh. He changes it to in Peggy Sue Got Married. It's the same joke in a slightly different flavour.
From 20 or 30 years ago. Will we go?
But it's not an unpleasant film. Richard Curtis films never are. They're easy enough.
It does surprise me because like the feeling. I mean, I've not seen it obviously.
I don't watch that though and think, please bring back Blackadder though.
I'll reset. I haven't seen it, so I didn't know. So that kind of surprised me because I remember.
Look forward to me saying all that again on the summer review.
I remember seeing like the Doctor Who episode that Richard Curtis wrote, and it was basically just a big love letter to Vincent van Gogh, and I just thought, I bet this is just going to be a big love letter to the Beatles. That's all this is going to be. Just be like,
it is. But
just be like, oh hey, how great the Beatles is, and there's like apparently spoiler. Apparently there is a scene with John Lennon. And I just felt, I thought it would be, but
that's jaw-droppingly fucking.
And I just thought, like, I've just got to tell John Lennon how much he meant to me, because, like, you know, I just think that's the most cringiest, cheesiest fucking things in the world you could do.
It's just fucking awful, and it almost like absolves him of what he's doing in the film, because, well, look, John Lennon got to survive and live a life he enjoyed. Like, fuck off. And I always have a problem with anything that paints like John Lennon as some fucking wise sage anyway.
Oh yeah, true.
Why?
Because he's a bellend. Me and Dave were in sync there.
I knew that would provoke that response.
Very talented bellend, but like he wasn't some font of fucking wisdom.
I mean, the guy like spouted about like world peace and love and all that. Yet you kind of like you.
Not being rude, but I'm just going to ignore you and watch the film because I quite like.
Well, you talk about a guy who literally just like he left his wife and kids with nothing. You know, do you know what I mean? It's like the guy.
I'm not really contributing much because I'm just watching the film. Apologies, everybody.
Well, basically, privately, the guy was absolutely massive bellend on every count. So, there you are. So,
Yeah.
anyway,
but I feel about like Muhammad Ali the same way. I was a huge fan of Muhammad Ali, love him as a fighter, found him extremely funny. But people talk about about him like there was some fucking wisdom in the guy. He had an IQ of 78. Let's not get carried away.
it's the celebrity thing. It's one of the things that irritates me about it, because it's like people like look to celebrities if they like and actors as if they.
I have to interrupt to go to the film at one point there, because Tim just pulled a face that was like, I'm right browned off.
Compared to the scene where he swears earlier.
Yeah, we do have to get back to like talking about actually Bond.
Yeah.
And we just talked over like what the biggest set piece of the film.
We did well. We ignored the brilliant first act and the denouement, but all the boring stuff in the middle we commentated on. So no problem. Look at that. That would break your fucking spine. I think they should change it up by having Roger Moore be the stuntman in this. If I'm not going to play Bond anymore, can I be the stunt double? So every time it cuts into action, it's like a really old man. And as he lands, it's like Umi prostate.
I don't know if they actually have signs like that in over there, but I do like. It's very bonding just to sort of like just to come off a stunt like that, go like, oh, I know a good place there. Let's go. Let's make dinner.
Yeah, I just felt instinctively when he was looking for a restaurant, he wasn't going to head to Islamabad. Not to do the place down, but it just doesn't have that ring of like fine dining.
I know a place that does a cracking kebab there. Let's go.
There you go, striking Karachi.
Yeah, and everywhere he's gone, he's had a fine dining experience. You don't ever get, oh, I had an ice cream there.
Judo punch.
From a van, it was alright.
Isn't? Yeah. The two ladies who did nothing.
Thing is, that fake out bit earlier in the film wasn't really a fake out, because all the fake ones look so fake.
Yeah. They're not very,
if you stand John Baker in the middle, it's clearly that's him. Oh, look at the fun he's having.
He's having a good old time. It's behind you.
See, why didn't he just kill him?
Yeah, exactly. Why did you just shoot him?
I mean, he does
he's got to stand heroically for a while.
Legs apart.
Magical powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft
I did legs combo.
my Walther PPK and said,
I have the power. Oh my god, there's a crossover I'd like to see.
That's always bothered me about He-Man. Magical powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my sword and said, by the power of grace, why did you do that then? What made you think I'll give this a crack?
It was whispered to you by a wizard, said, hey, He-Man. Hey, Prince Adam, if you do this,
Was it actually wizard?
magical powers would be revealed to you. Yeah, it's all in the backstory. Look it up.
Great if it was the 1970s band Wizard that told you that. I've always wondered why.
I also think there's like a hidden subtext, the fact that he always wears pink.
What, He-Man?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
no, Prince Adam.
It's more the fact his pants are quite furry.
He's very good friends with Man-at-Arms.
Yeah.
See, he's wearing a suit that's basically bulletproof, but it doesn't make him like go back at all.
Yeah.
Like he just takes like bullet shots and just bounce off him. But in fact, you'd be a little bit taken back by him at least.
Yeah. It's not protected all of him as well, but there you go. I to paraphrase Dave Lister, I am completely unsmeg and gripped at this point. I love the film, but this bit is just like, oh, this is a shit villain. Just get him sorted. Just get him done with.
I think it's quite tense.
We've had
The
that
edgy
much.
scene is quite tense.
Okay.
Yeah, but you got to pay off the keychain though.
Yeah, you got to do that, haven't you? You got to.
You imagine if like his lips were too dry now and it was like.
Yeah, literally.
Oh shit!
Warning, contains raspberries.
See, wouldn't this work better if there was Yogi?
It probably would.
Well, Yorgi does appear in a minute.
Exactly. He just turns up and gets arrested. But it would be better if it was.
Yeah, I believe it's time to arrest me.
In that voice.
Yeah. I like the fact he jogs in as well. Never noticed that before. He literally jogged in then, Yorgi.
He does. Do.
Was meant to be Gogol this, but he wasn't well enough. But then the actor lived for about another 9 years afterwards, so I don't know.
No, he's quite poorly,
What-
but then
I
pulled
don't-
through to live another 1,000 years.
What was wrong with Walter Guttel? Do we know without looking?
No, he was ill.
Okay.
He might have just thought, I'm just getting too old for it.
He
All
saw,
but
he,
this
saw
shit.
the, he saw the script and saw how much standing up there was.
Or you needed to sit down.
Hang on a minute, what happened to all the blowjobs?
He was quite tall though as well. So
Get Dave Bond in for a script polish. I think he's... Well, yeah, he is. Wouldn't that ruin the sound of Bullet Hole? That's John Barry conducting, by the way.
Yes. I think he
Becca.
was drunk or something during the scene.
Well, I just remember we said in the review that John Barry was in it, and Chris said, where?
There he is.
He's conducting. You knew where he was, but I remember Chris couldn't remember.
Isn't there some scene where he's conducting and he's actually drunk, or the story goes that he's inebriated somehow?
See, because I'm completely naive about conductors, I'm not actually sure what they do. They go, oh, he was a brilliant conductor, and it's just stand at the
They
front.
conduct
wait
the
for it.
band. When you're playing in a band, you have to pay attention to the conductor, so you know where you are.
Right.
I'm going to forward your message on to Warren Ringham of Cue the Music
Yeah, don't bother.
and send you his reply.
I'm just curious, but I'm not that curious.
No, I'm going to message him and then I'll send you his reply. There's a vital part in the band. And it's very important.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, because, like, basically, if they were stood up the front just waving their hands around and it was all a bit of a con, I think we'd have
We have to know the
found out by now.
timing of it as well. So it's all dictated by the conductor.
here he is, the man, the man
Oh, I
himself.
made it after all.
Yeah, he was well enough to make, like, a cameo, but that was it. And in
Oh,
they come. The Taliban are here!
Shh, they're not called that in this film.
Rode on horses.
Yeah, just fucking let them in.
They're not called that in this.
Don't leave them alone in the loos, though.
You'll be taking your shoes off in 20, 30 years' time. Thanks to these guys.
Like they still walk, like coming in with like the guns and ammunition hanging around their necks.
We don't know what weapons they've got. Well, what did you fucking sell them?
Check the receipts.
Oh, he's done her a couple of wanked off, not fingered.
How romantic.
I'd love it with a couple of eggshells there. And like a little one of those things for separating out the yolks. Open can of sardines. And 2 olives.
For decoration. I can't imagine drinking anything worse. Just sounds like the most awful thing in the world.
We'd have to, though, wouldn't we?
I think.
I mean, if we had, like, a meet-up event or something, we'd have to fucking serve this shit now. Although Chris could get away with the dry wine spritzer because he dropped that line. So it'd be alright.
I'll save
We'd have a
myself
go,
there.
wouldn't we?
I wonder if anyone else has actually ever... You said like they you
I
see
saw a
someone
photo of someone had
made one.
So yeah,
I wonder if they tried it.
I don't know if they drank it.
I mean,
I probably wouldn't advise drinking.
no. I mean,
It wouldn't do you any harm. It would be horrible, but it wouldn't do you any harm.
That's why you'd have to get the egg whites just right, like.
Yeah.
So there we are.
Obviously, you swap the vodka for ice cream soda if you want a virgin wanked off, not fingered.
So we are Living Daylights.
You have to do a vegan version somehow. I don't think we'll be able to do that, but just drink a proper martini.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't mention the fact that this is nearly Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah,
Very nearly.
we talked about it in review. Pierce Brosnan was cast first, but he wasn't the first choice. Tim Dalton was cast around this. Sam Neill was liked by most people, except Cubby Broccoli didn't want him, and obviously he was the key voice in all of that. I've seen Sam Neill's screen test. Pierce Brosnan screen tested as well. Timothy Dalton was offered the role, but he was off making Brenda Starr, a film which famously took 68,000 at the box office off a 16 million budget.
Oh god.
And didn't get released for years either because it was caught up in various litigation. So they then went to Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan said yes, but he had a 60-day cooling off period effectively on Remington Steele, which had been cancelled. They had 60 days to re-option it, and somewhere in the last couple of days they did, because the ratings had gone up because everyone was watching it because the new James Bond was in it. And of course, as soon as he had to drop out of that, the ratings dropped away again. They made 6 further episodes, and that was it. So he went and did it, assuming these films had come out anywhere near as good with Dalton. See, Brosnan always says, well, I was more suited to it later on because I was older and all the rest of it. That may be true, but I would take the 2 Timothy Dalton films over any of Brosnan's. Had it been the other way round, he'd have got more bang for his buck doing these 2 than the 4 he did. But there you go. It is what it is. It turned out they both got to play the role, so I don't feel too bad. And I may not be his biggest fan, but I'm glad Brosnan got to play the role. After having that happen to him, I'm so glad he got to play the role.
Yeah, after everything he kind of went through, and think like he nearly had it within his grasp, only for him to come along and say, "No, you're going to be doing
Remington Steele
for the next God knows how many times." And yeah, literally he had it within his grasp, and it just wasn't. If it wasn't for that clause in his contract. Anyway, in a nutshell, because I haven't heard from Warren yet, conductor from Classic FM, serves as a messenger for the composer. It's their responsibility to ensure that I don't drop my phone, to understand the music and convey it through gesture, so transparently that the musicians and the orchestra understand it perfectly. So it's a deal of transmitting the unified view of the music.
So they're up the front, like dancing around a bit and going, "It's a bit like this."
To the audience, definitely.
So what's the? I've got to convey how this feels. So, a bit like this. Do.
Yes, but it's also you've got to keep the time as well. And obviously, how they wave the baton is done in the
Just hold up a watch.
Beg your pardon?
Just hold up a watch.
No, not really.
Dance around a bit, hold up a Rolex.
No, not quite the same.
I don't think I'd be a very good conductor.
It's about how you got to find the right pattern, the right shape.
Yeah. Does the pointy stick help? Couldn't they do it all?
On a pointy stick.
Pointy stick. Couldn't they do it by throwing some shapes?
Do it by throwing a pointy stick in your direction in your eye.
I'd keep time after that.
Into the first bassoon. I can't see.
Yeah. We're not experts. I don't know if that's coming across.
This is from Classic FM, don't you know?
Classic FM.
The very echelon.
The very echelon, eh? All right. Okay. I think next time we do a Bond film, we should pick one that's a little less great.
This is a fun fact. Later, as more instruments were invented and orchestras grew in size, their favour shifted to using a big staff that leaders would pound on the ground to keep time. This was very effective because the musicians could hear it, but then a composer named Lully stabbed himself in the foot, got gangrene and died. So people looked for other ways to conduct the music. This was 700 BC.
All right.
And that's why they end up with a baton.
Fair enough.
Or you can just use your hand, wave your hand around.
Just wave your fingers around a bit.
But don't have a big stick, alright? Otherwise you'll get gangrene and die.
Thing is, right, it's Chris's Bond film choice next, right?
Oh,
And we know what that is because he's told us privately. And I know what my choice is after that, and I can say comfortably the next two Bond films are not very good.
I think I know which one the next one's going to be.
Yeah.
Although it'll be funny with our comments though, so we'll make it worth your while listening.
Oh no, I don't mind doing bad Bond films. That's cool. That's all right. That's good fun. But yeah.
I really enjoyed that. That was a good film.
We're finished with
It's,
Timothy Dalton, though. That's it.
Can't go wrong.
4 years into our podcast, almost to the month, and we're finished with Timothy Dalton. That's it.
Oh,
We wash our hands of you, sir.
well, you might do, but I don't.
Mournfully, of course.
Mournfully. Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to enjoying him in future TV productions.
Such as.
I can't remember what it's called. The new one's now.
Can't wait. Mouth watering.
The one where he plays the chief.
The one where he plays the chief. I'm picturing an Indian.
How?
It just seems like the worst
Oh.
Indian casting ever.
I can't remember what it's
It's a
called.
bit like Alec Guinness's
It's coming to me.
casting in Lawrence of Arabia.
Who do you think? Do you think it's either going to be Craig or Brosnan? Who you think is going to be a bit more of the Bond ambassador following?
Neither of them. They're both working actors for whom it's a role. They loved it. But I mean, Brosnan's been out of the role for 17 years now, and he's never done anything particularly since. He turned up to do everything or nothing, but, you know, he and Daniel Craig, I know I can't. I think if you think back to when it was 40 years old, the year of Die Another Day, they all appeared, with the exception of Connery, who wouldn't cross the road for James Bond. But they all appeared on, like, Parkinson, you know, and they all took their turn to talk about it. If you get to, like, I don't know, 60, 70 years and Brosnan and Craig are both alive and well, yeah, I think they turn up for it. I think they've got enough gratitude to the role and all the rest of it. But I don't see them, like, staying involved, per se. Not particularly, no. I think, and it's right and proper because it's somebody else's role, and I think Craig would cast a big shadow, particularly when he's still not that old. With Roger Moore, he was so old by the time he finished that there's no threat from still having him in the camp.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, no, I don't see it that way. I think Moore was a very specific case, and you know, I just think that's just the kind of guy he was, and he just loved the role. Absolutely loved the role, or his interpretation of the role, anyway. Because it doesn't bear a lot of. It's not got much in common with many of the others that played it, to be honest.
But it was definitely his.
Definitely his, yeah.
It was his for sure.
It's just that it went on so long. I mean, I may not be the biggest fan anyway, but if he'd stopped after, like,
Moonraker.
For Your Eyes Only, I'd feel a bit better about it. And if For Your Eyes Only, maybe, you know, if you took out a couple of the earlier ones that aren't that good, like Man with the Golden Gun or something, and maybe like For Your Eyes Only was his fourth or something, I think, well, that's a pretty decent run. You know what I mean? But because he stayed around, he was just ludicrous in the end. Just because I think even if he'd been able to have a go at some of the stunt work, I'd be a little bit more. It's just watching him go up the Eiffel Tower, and there's shots where you go, I literally do not understand why you've got a stuntman for that shot. You know what I mean? There are shots
insurance purposes as well.
You're doing fuck all there.
It might be like, oh, we just need to pick a few shots. Roger's in it. Oh, I find we'll just get the stunt guy then.
But I just love that How Did This Get Made episode where Jason Mantzoukas says every time you see a man doing something, it's not him. He's trying to explain how to tell the difference between him and the stuntman, and he says every time you see a man doing something, it's not him. It's just like you've got, and the hair was ridiculously stiff and all that because it was thinning, so they had to arrange it and spray it heavily. And then they cast him up against like young women like Tanya Roberts, and it's just like, this doesn't look right.
I can't wait to get into that again. View to a Kill.
What? View to a Kill?
Yeah.
Funny you should say that.
So that's it until next time, which won't be too long because we've got quite a short series.
Yeah, we got what we're going to announce coming up, but it's fair enough to say in just over a month we'll be doing Chris's Choice.
Yes, so it won't be too long at all. Which
And I can't wait for that one as well.
So, which leads to our next series, which means Becca. Oh, social media, fucking hell.
I was going to say, you forgot.
I forgot social media. Yes, you can find me at Simtronics
Open
on
that
Twitter. You can find all the shows at simtronics.co.uk, or you can find it all on Spotify, Apple, and Google. All there.
All the shows.
All the shows.
One day you'll be able to find all the westerns there as well.
And that's it, Dave.
You can find me at the Pasty Kid 1976 on Twitter.
And you can find us at Expect Us to Talk on Twitter.
Okay, on to a new series, Becca, which means...
I'll buy that for $1.
Yay! I'm excited.
Hey!
Hey! I'm excited.
You're excited as Anthony Hopkins.
I am.
He's not even in this series. But yes, do expect to talk will return with our review series of Robocop.